Yo, what it is, back. We is back, baby. Ready to get the business, man. So, this what we got going on today, man. I'm sure most people saying that trap Laura Ross documentary. I haven't watched the whole thing. Let me share this real quick. I'll make sure it's all everything right. I watched a little bit of it. Y'all know for the most part, I don't really support this type of content. But at the same time, I watched a little bit of it, man. And this man was doing way too much. You talk about solving cases. I think he might have took this to a whole nother level. You know what I mean? Now, mind you, I didn't watch the King Von documentary. I didn't watch that. But I felt the need to watch this one. Just a little bit of it late last night. Why is this shit not on Facebook? Let me share this to Facebook real quick. You said you watched the King Von one? Well, shit, man. Watch it with me, yo. Shit, we ready to rock out. What you think about it? What you think about the this one right here? You can see the fear of Youngboy in him though. For real. She was trying to choose his words wisely. Yeah, and that's the thing, bro. Like, alright, King Von passed, yo, but this man's still living. And from what I was watching, oh yeah, I ain't no Youngboy fan either. Yeah, but from what I was watching, man, he was doing a lot of investigative work. Like he was taking it a little bit. Like I seen something where he was talking about Fredo Bang, and then he showed the Vlad interview, and he was like, man, look at his face when Vlad asked him about Boulevard. I mean about Dump. I was like, damn, yo, see that's a little bit too much. You feel me? Like that's deeper than investigative journalism. And if this whole documentary like that, oh my god, we ready to have some fun with this. Yeah, like that's a little bit too much, bro. Yeah, straight up. But yeah, y'all share this, y'all social media, y'all. It's gonna be some more people come. I got it sharing on Twitch. Let me make sure I'm on Twitch. It's on. It's on Twitter too. Oh shit, I should say the trouble. It's on Twitter too. Well, X.com. I don't know why to change the name. Fucked it up with that. Alright. Let me share it. I think I'm gonna start going live, yo, cause I don't really be having a whole lot of time, yo. Like, I've been having my kids 24/7. You feel me? But I can go live on weekends, you know, days when they ain't got school in the morning. Jeezy. Yo, how y'all feel about before we get started, yo? That Jeezy shit, yo. I think that was an arranged relationship with Jeezy and what's her name, Jenny Ma. That shit was arranged, bro. Because it just came out of nowhere. It came out of nowhere. Yeah, they filing for divorce. It came out of nowhere. Next thing you know, they married. Then now she pregnant. I ain't gonna lie, yo. I think that was part of their, you know, that shit they pushing. You know, Jeezy been a sellout. You know, he the first person came on saying talking about 16.5 and all that bullshit, that numbers, them wild ass numbers he couldn't get it for. That boy not right, man. So I wouldn't be surprised if 20 years later he's still doing shit like that. Oh, look at your goofy. He my favorite fan right there, Rapper Vinny. He love me, man. The boy love me. He like a super troll. Like, yo, what you get out of trolling, shorty? Like, I don't really understand that, yo. Like, explain to me the life of a troll, Rapper Vinny. Like, what you wake up and do in the morning? Do you got kids? You got responsibilities? Like, yo, what you got going on, shorty? I need some answers, yo, because I don't understand the troll life. Like, that gotta be a miserable life. Straight up. Alright, I'm ready to let it roll.
Contains themes of violence, death, and gang activity. The purpose of this video is to provide an educational account of historical events in the mainstream music industry. No disrespect is intended. This video does not intend to glorify or glamorize the gang lifestyle. Every effort has been made to remove anything from this video that goes against YouTube's community guidelines, including swearing and violence. But if you'd like to see a fully uncut version of this video with everything I can't show you on YouTube, then head on over to patreon.com/TrapLordRoss, where you can watch all of my biggest documentaries uncut for just $2. But if you're not into that, just hit the subscribe button and enjoy the rest of the video. Thank you. Over the last 5 years, there's been few rappers that have generated as much excitement and controversy as Youngboy. His music is personal,
hey, yo.
thought-provoking, and
He probably had to get the okay before. Is Youngboy still signed? If Youngboy was still signed, I don't think they would have allowed him to do this, man. This might be like a get back move at Youngboy. I think he trying to send that boy. And then he's still fighting the case. You know what I mean? Like, how you gonna do some shit like this on somebody that's actively fighting the case? And I'm gonna get it rolling to y'all in a minute. But I truly believe that this documentary that he put out on King Von was probably, other than the fact that the police, the one killed King Von, I think this documentary played a major role in getting Lord Tim charges dropped. Straight up. Because if people was to watch that documentary, you gotta look at it from a defense attorney aspect. If you was a defense attorney and that King Von documentary dropped, and I think that documentary got about 10 million views. Yo, how was you gonna convince the jury that Lord Tim didn't shoot King Von in self-defense? They basically put 12 murders on the man. It got so bad that Wikipedia, if you go to Wikipedia serial killers right now, King Von name on there. He did that, yo. Yeah, man. Yo did that shit, man. I'm telling you.
violent.
Gotta watch, yo.
He's one of the few artists who can top the Billboard charts with music all about killing, death, and destruction. But his ability to
It did, yo.
of life growing up in the dangerous slums of Baton Rouge have inspired people all over America and the world at large. Youngboy's experiences in the gang-infested slums of Louisiana, where it's kill or be killed, inspired a generation of downtrodden youngsters to struggle through the pain too. Because despite losing family members and being the target of numerous assassination attempts, Youngboy has always managed to come out on top. Not just surviving, but beating the odds and coming back bigger every single time. It's rare to find an artist who attracts this much love and hate all at the same time. And Youngboy's thugged out survival anthems for the streets have made him one of the most beloved artists in history. But his influence has a dark side too, because some might say that his aggressive murder anthems are
Yo, and then, yo, who the fuck puts together a 6-hour documentary? 6 hours? Like, at what point are you trying to prove? Like, yo, nobody does that, yo. Like, they'd have broken down the series or something. Yo, 6 hours, yo. Like, yo, that's a lot, man. This man put a lot of work in whoever was behind him, because he ain't doing this by himself. I seen an interview when he was talking about, shout out to all the people that helped him. Then he said, I don't even think anybody want me to mention them. Like, yo, what's the secret? Like, what you had? Law enforcement help? Like, man, we gonna figure this guy out by the end of this movie. I probably do like 2 hours a day, yo. Or we gonna see how it work. Or we gonna figure yo out before this documentary over.
inspiring a generation of lost teenagers teenagers
See what his
slide
intentions
and
is.
resort to violence just like he had to. But can Youngboy really be blamed? When basketball player Ja Morant ended up in hot water for flashing a gun in a strip club to Youngboy's music, many people suggested that this was Youngboy's fault. And considering just how many lives seem to have been lost as a direct result of Youngboy's career, whether it's the murder of rival Baton Rouge rapper G Money, to the slaying of Youngboy's beloved manager Big Dump, or even the killing of Chicago rap legend King Von, seemingly a self-defense shooting, the result
Yo,
of
King Von, yo, King Von, let me say something, right? Yo, niggas that's killing like that in the hood, yo, them niggas not serial killers, man. They trying to change the definition of a serial killer. For all my life, a serial killer been a person that kills without merit, without warning. You know, the Jeffrey Dahmers, the Charles Mansons, you understand, like people that kill people for no reason. But now it look like they trying to what's the word I'm looking for? They trying to change the term into anybody that killed this many people. But yo, these guys in the hood like King Von and a lot of other people is killing not to die, yo. Like that's a totally different mentality than just killing people for no reason. You feel me? These niggas is killing to live. A serial killer is killing for no reason, man. They kidnapping people and kidnapping women and children. You something saying like, yo, that's not the same. That's not the same. It's not the same mentality. It's nothing the same about it, other than the fact that people is dying. But when you talk about a serial killer, that goes into a person's mentality. You feel me? That's why I never liked that he put that title on King Von, yo. Because even if he did do all those things, even though King Von ain't been found guilty of nothing. I mean, all these allegations came out about him after his death. But the man never been found guilty of nothing. So how the fuck they just put that on that boy, yo? And then how the fuck Wikipedia just slide him on there without no real evidence? Like, no guilty pleas. Like, it's crazy. I think they ready to start trying to put a lot of black people on that list, yo. So don't be surprised in the next 20 years that list look a little bit different. I'm telling you.
A group of dangerous would be an understatement. But is the group of people that Youngboy surrounds himself a gang of loose cannons shooting first and asking questions later, or are they just really a family of youngsters with a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity they would put their lives on the line to protect? Over the course of his career, so many people have died that Youngboy even refers to himself as the Murder Man, and claiming in numerous songs to have been the direct cause of as many as 7 murders in his hometown. Over the years, many people have questioned the authenticity of Youngboy's gangster image.
Yo, see, yo, how you just gonna do that, yo? Like, this man's really dissecting rap lyrics. Yo, that's crazy to me, y'all. I know people telling that rap, yo, but come on now. Just because he said that don't mean that's the case. That don't mean it's true. You know what I mean? Even if some of these things line up, like, I don't know about. I just don't. I don't get that. I don't even like it for real.
Got Cap in your raps. Youngboy talking about on this song, bro.
In spite of all of the violence surrounding his career, in 2022, Youngboy had a change of heart, perhaps coming the result of reflecting on all of the destruction and pain that had been caused by his music career, or as a result of
He put the whole case together.
that have seen Youngboy endlessly
We're gonna watch it.
cell or on house arrest. Because recently, he's been calling to stop the violence.
Hey, Smoke, that's you?
In interviews to
Think
stop
that's Smoke.
promoting murder and violence in his songs, and even taking steps to de-escalate the conflict with his most hated rivals in Baton Rouge, with Youngboy's crew even sharing the stage with their mortal enemy Fredo Bang for a special charity concert aiming to stop the violence. But that said, even these intentions have been called into question, when after pledging to stop the violence, Youngboy continues to drop violent murder anthems back to back. So, the $50 million question remains unanswered. Is Youngboy really a gravedigger, the self-proclaimed murder man of Baton Rouge, really serious about stopping the violence? Or is this all just a ploy to try and avoid the responsibility for convincing a generation of teenagers to pick up a gun and get active in the streets? Well,
Hey,
today,
yo, this
we're going
nigga-
to take a closer look.
Yo said to pick up a gun and get active in the streets. What the hell do he know about getting active in the streets? Like that's what I'm saying. Like these guys just be using terminology that they don't even really understand. Active in the streets. Like you don't use that word. You don't use them words when you talking to your family members, bro. Don't do that over here, y'all.
The murders, the music, and the man, and decide once and for all if Youngboy really as dangerous as they say he is.
You're gonna die. You ain't gonna be a bump. Or you gonna be successful.
Y'all like this video, yo, so I can get the algorithm. YouTube be playing with me on my live videos.
I'm gonna be. But I ain't dumb though. You hear me? Ain't no people who play that role. To y'all, them know I ain't dumb. The people who really know me, they know I ain't dumb. You hear me? I came this far. You think I came this far by being dumb? Come on, man.
Do you want to play the latest PC games, but your computer looks like this? So you're stuck playing games.
Today's story takes place in the state of Louisiana. Louisiana is in the United States deep south, a historic region of the U.S.
Boat drives
history. The deep south has had deep ties to the historic slave trade, with these particular states like Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia historically being heavily dependent on the plantation system, which saw black people kidnapped.
Yo, why they don't never show the slaves when they was building the White House and stuff like that? Yo, what they ain't take pictures back then? Like they always show this when they, whenever slavery come up, this is what they show. Why they don't never show them building the railroads or the whole infrastructure to the United States? Like yo, we don't need to see this. This is not helping the black community. I mean, this is not helping anything. I don't understand. We need to wipe these pictures out, put them in a museum, and keep them there. They must ain't take pictures of the other things that the slaves did. You know, the things that we still use today.
Africa and put to work against their will in cotton fields for the benefit of white Americans. Even after the Confederate States lost the Civil War and slavery was abolished, racism continued to cast a shadow over Louisiana for many years. Attempts were made to restrict free black people from voting, and racist organizations like the White League were formed in Louisiana to terrorize, intimidate, and target the black community there. Eventually, after World War II, in the face of the Civil Rights Movement, black people in Louisiana finally begun to exercise their right to vote. And in 1960, this saw the establishment of groups like the Louisiana State Sovereignty Commission with an aim to battle racial segregation in the state, particularly in schools. During these years of segregation, it's believed that many African Americans fled Louisiana to states like California, seeking better treatment and opportunities. However, analysis by William Frey suggested that in decades that followed, due to better civil rights in Louisiana, many black migrants were actually attracted back to the state. But despite these improvements, however, Louisiana still remained a difficult place to grow up black through the 90s and the noughties. The state's incarceration rates have been at a very low level for decades now. And although black people are a minority in the state of Louisiana, the majority of the population in correctional facilities have been black. Louisiana has the second highest poverty rate in America, and here too, black people seem to suffer the worst. Moreover, the devastating events of Hurricane Katrina and subsequent flooding left tens of thousands of Louisiana residents stranded, with those affected being disproportionately African American. And the poor efforts to rescue these black people in danger had many people questioning if...
Yo, is that like slavery music playing in the background? Y'all hear that music?
The state really even cared about their black citizens.
These niggas is crazy.
Now look, you might be wondering, what the hell does all of this have to do with Youngboy? Well, in my opinion, it's important to understand the history of where he comes from, to understand the environment that created the man, as well as the inherent challenges of growing up as a young black man in Louisiana. But that said, there's also plenty of positive influences stemming from Youngboy's Louisiana upbringing. Despite the state's difficult history when it comes to slavery and civil rights,
you ready to show some rappers or
the state's
something?
multiculturalism would become an asset, spawning creative and artistic communities. Louisiana has a long and rich history when it comes to music. In the early 1800s, the influx of enslaved Africans brought with them a diverse array of musical traditions and talents. Musical traditions which merged with the existing French, Spanish, Native American influences in Louisiana. The fusion of these diverse cultural elements led to the birth of unique musical styles such as Creole music and jazz. Then, during the Civil War, music would play a significant role in both the North and the South. In Louisiana, Confederate songs and abolitionist tunes were composed, reflecting the region's divided sentiments on the issue. Some people wanted slavery to end, and their ops wanted it to continue. And you could probably argue that these might represent some of the
Did he call them apps?
of diss songs, with soldiers on both sides of the Civil War actually playing music that would hype up their troops and boost morale to prepare them for battle. After the Civil War, as time would go on, Louisiana creatives would continue to experiment with music. Blues music is believed to have originated in the Deep South in the late 1800s and early 1900s. The African American communities in New Orleans are credited with pioneering jazz music in the early 1910s. And in the 1950s, more new musical genres emerged, like swamp pop, where young Cajuns and Creoles would combine traditional French Louisiana music with New Orleans-style rhythm and blues and country and western music, as well as the more low-tempo swamp blues originating in the black communities of southwest Louisiana. Into the 50s and 60s, the civil rights movement would further impact Louisiana's music scene, as African-American musicians leveraged their talents to amplify the call for racial equality, often using their platforms to shed light on the struggles that they had faced. R&B and soul music, with their origins in gospel and blues.
I wonder how much money it took him to put this together. Yo, it take a lot of time to edit videos, yo. To edit a 6-hour video, man, that shit probably took a fucking whole month.
Rappers would emerge from Louisiana's biggest cities. In New Orleans, modern rap was pioneered by Master P and his No Limit clique, later being taken to brave new heights in hip-hop's bling era by the likes of Cash Money Records, headed by Birdman and his prodigy Lil Wayne.
He thought about
He would
itself.
arguably go on to become one of the greatest rappers of all time, and my personal favourite. And while the flashy antics of bling rappers might come across to some as tasteless, others would be inspired by these emerging black role models who were showing the world through artistry that a persecuted black man in the Deep South could become a multi-millionaire and build generational wealth off the back of sharing their lived experience through music. Now, things still aren't perfect, but the success of rap music in the Deep South represents a triumph over repression to me. And I'm telling you all of this because all of this history is very important context. Because the social circumstances that persisted in Louisiana over hundreds of years all led up to a single moment in time, where the perfect circumstances existed to create one of the modern day's most exciting and controversial music artists. People in Louisiana have been using their music to express their pain and tell their perspective on life for hundreds of years. And in the modern day Louisiana, one voice stands out above all others. The voice of a young boy who experienced one of the harshest upbringings modern day Louisiana had to offer. And that young boy was able to put all of his pain, trauma, and triumphs into his music. Modern day music that is still unmistakably Southern. So, now you know the city, let's take a closer look at that young boy, Youngboy.
Let's take a look at that young boy.
This game.
That shit don't even sound right coming out your mouth.
Youngboy was born Kentrell Deshaun Gordon in 1999, and over the years, he's been known by many names. NBA Youngboy, Youngboy Never Broke Again, Top, YB, AI Youngboy, and the list goes on. Now, Youngboy by no means had it easy as a kid. He grew up on the north side of Baton Rouge, more specifically North 38th Street and Chippewa Street. This led to another nickname that appears frequently in Youngboy's songs and albums, 38 Baby. In fact, Youngboy's legendary lyrics about 38th and Chippewa, where he grew up, has even attracted superfans who would film themselves driving down the very streets that Youngboy would play on as a child. But life on 38th Street was not kind to a young Youngboy. His father, Jeffrey Staden, wasn't in his life growing up, as he had apparently been sentenced to 55 years in jail when Youngboy was just 8 years old. This monster sentence was punishment for the armed robbery of a Baton Rouge convenience store on December 1st, 2009. Youngboy's father, along with 3 other men, one of whom was his brother Dallas, had apparently robbed Albi's convenience store on North Sherwood Forest. The robbery got ugly, and Youngboy's father shot store clerk in the leg during this altercation. This would earn him charges of armed robbery and attempted first-degree murder. He would plead guilty, and after a jury trial, the state would find...
He shot him in the leg and caught 50 years. Yo, a leg shot should not be. Yo, see, them laws down there need to be changed, man. It's a damn shame, yo, in a lot of these states, yo, we still, like, they always talking about being progressive, but we still under these old laws. A leg shot in the state of Maryland that's a non-fatal shot. That can get broke down to first-degree assault. 10 years, 20 years. He caught 50 fucking years, yo. That's crazy. Should be able to appeal it.
And him guilty as charged on 2 counts, getting himself 10 years for the robbery and 50 years for the attempted murder. Many years later, Youngboy would even reference his father's incarceration, rapping on the song Cross Me that it was actually his uncle, his father's brother, that that was there for the robbery who snitched and got him 55 years in jail. As well as referencing his father's plight on the song Where the Love At, where he raps that he prays he doesn't become an alcoholic like his father, as well as paying respects and suggesting that his father needs a second chance at life because robbing people for their money was how he was trying to provide for his family. It seemed like both sides of Youngboy's family had a history of robbery, as his uncle on his mother's side was also an alleged known robber in Baton Rouge. However, unfortunately, he would suffer a
How the fuck you get all these pictures?
Andy Golden, the uncle who Youngboy referenced a couple of times in his music, was apparently shot in the head during a robbery attempt. Youngboy mentions on the track Acquittal,
he
he heard
public
stories
records.
about how his uncle was shot in the head, implying that their relationship was most likely non-existent if Youngboy had to rely on stories to hear all about his life. As well as in the track R.I.P. Lil Dave, when Youngboy speaks of his uncle who got shot in the head and died while hitting a lick. Further references to this are heard on the track 38 Baby, when Youngboy outright declares that Andy Golden was
Alright,
his uncle.
so this is what he doing now. See, this is what I'm saying. You gotta pay attention to what's going on. He's establishing, by using these situations, he's establishing that Youngboy tells the truth in his music. You feel me? That's the police shit. That's what he's doing. So basically he's saying, well, he spoke about all these robberies and all these family members. So if that's true, when he's speaking on these murders, that's true as well. That's police shit, bro. That's deeper than journalism. You feel me? Like, you gotta pay attention, yo, to what these guys say, yo, and how they word it. But that's what he's doing right now. It's like he's making a case. This is some shit a lawyer or a prosecutor do. He's establishing what's the word I'm looking for? He's establishing a connection, a pattern. You feel me?
Which means that robbery is in his genes. I mean, just take a second and think about the situation that Youngboy was dealing with here as a child. His father is serving 55 years for robbery, with one uncle who snitched on him, and his other uncle was also a prolific robber who got shot in the head and killed during a robbery. All this would leave him as a lost child with no father figure, who even saw robbery as part of his DNA. That's a heavy situation for an 8-year-old kid to be dealing with. And with no father figure in his life, Youngboy would have to rely on the females in his family to look after him and make him a man. Despite his mother Sharonda Golden being alive, she apparently wasn't there for Youngboy as a child at all times. So he would initially be raised by his loving grandmother Alice Golden, but unfortunately Youngboy's grandmother would pass away too, leaving him devastated for years to come. Youngboy would open up about the loss of his grandmother in a Billboard interview in 2023, calling her his protector. After losing his grandmother, with his father in jail and his mother out of the picture, Youngboy wound up in a group home, and it would be here he would be subject to physical abuse and bullying. He would later explain in a Billboard interview that it was this experience of being targeted in the group home that led him to cultivate his own dark and violent side for protection. Clearly, Youngboy had to fight for survival as a child. In fact, he actually broke his neck whilst he was wrestling as a toddler. This was a serious injury which required him to wear a full neck and head brace whilst his spine healed. This was a corrective procedure which left him with the 3 iconic head scars that he has on his head to this day, an everyday reminder on his face of just one painful incident that he endured as a child, and something his enemies are still quick to use against him, with the hurtful moniker Deadhead often being levied against him. Youngboy had gone through so many traumatic experiences as a child, it's unsurprising that he would grow up dealing with a lot of pain. But even outside of the tragedies in his own family, Youngboy would also suffer losses outside the home. When he was just age 10, he would end up losing one of his closest childhood friends to gun violence. As a child, Youngboy was friends with another boy who was around 6 years older than him, a boy by the name of David Cobb, aka Lil Dave. On March the 27th, 2010, a memorial picnic was being held at a park on Woodpecker Street, Scotlandville in Baton Rouge. This event was intended to honour the memory of local teens who had lost their lives to gun violence. But unfortunately, the very thing that this event was intending to shed a light on would end up...
See, this is how they do it, yo. You know, he tried to give you this calming voice, like, you know, everything is okay. You know, I'm doing this with good faith. But what he just did, yo, earlier, yo, that I just spoke on, yo, that was dirty. That was foul. That was foul, yo. That's not journalism, yo. That's prosecution work.
Same day, because at some point a fight broke out and bullets started flying. One of those bullets hit 16-year-old David Cobb in the spine. Despite there being hundreds of witnesses, this case would ultimately go on unsolved, partly due to a fear in the community of retaliation against those who would be seen as a snitch for speaking to law enforcement. As a result, the family of Lil Dave would be left grieving without closure, heartbroken that their child lost his life at an event that was intended to honor teens losing their lives to gun violence. And it wasn't just Dave's family who were devastated by this loss. Youngboy himself would be distraught and traumatized by losing a friend to gun violence so young. He would go on to rap about the loss of Lil Dave and the effect that it had on him years later. Youngboy would rap on the song.
See, he's still doing it. He ain't start talking about the murders yet. He's still doing it. That's what this whole build up is for. This whole build up is to create pattern, to show you that Youngboy and his lyrics are real.
Dave was killed by a chopper or machine gun, and that he wishes he could call him. Also, on the aptly named song Homicide, Youngboy expresses his desire to get revenge and kill the person who took Dave's life, as well as saying that he knows Lil Dave is still with him on the song Pour One. On the song Cage Feeling,
Yo, the police don't even do this, y'all.
Saying that this loss
Not this.
his heart cold and made him become a killer. The fact that Youngboy was no stranger to loss of friends and family at such a young age just goes to show you the kind of environment he was growing up in, and the factors that coerced him into the kind of lifestyle he would go on to live. But Youngboy was already being influenced by this.
You see that? That reason was a lie. That reason he just gave as to why he did that was a fucking lie. Yeah, man. He did that shit to create pattern, man. I promise you that's why he did that, man. Motherfuckers, man. Motherfuckers lie, man. Can't believe what a person say, man. You gotta create your, you gotta, you know, read in between the lines.
Streets. He would actually later rap in the song Life that Lil Dave was the person who taught him how to smoke, shoot dice, and get money for sneakers. He also said that he felt life began getting crazy for him when Lil Dave was killed. In the song Better Man, Youngboy would claim to be tormented by the image of Lil Dave's murder in his mind. And on the track How I'm Living, he would vow to make the people responsible bleed for what they did to Dave. Later on the unreleased track Hold 13, that appeared only in a trailer for his hit album Top, Youngboy would rap a lyric which some believe is him actually confessing that when he made his first $20,000, he spent it on a hitman to get revenge on Lil Dave's killer. With this traumatic and personal...
Who the fuck believes that? Who believes that? Like, how can you just make a statement like that on which some believe? Who believes that? No, nobody even knew about all this shit that he just brought out. Who knew about Lord Dave from 2010 before Youngboy was even rapping? Come on, y'all. Cut the bullshit trap, Lil Ross, man. I'm on your ass, man.
Loss, combined with his family's reputation when it came to robberies, it's no surprise then that as a young teenager, Youngboy dropped out of school in the 9th grade, got heavily involved in the streets, becoming a teenage robber just like his father and uncle. Youngboy would later tell DJ Small's Eyes in an interview that after his grandmother died, he started robbing himself and ultimately wound up in jail for a robbery at just age 14.
I grew up taking, I grew up stealing, taking. Like, well, at first, my mama, my grandma used to take care of me. When my mom died, started catching my attention at a young age. See, I got booked for robbery at age 14.
Ultimately,
I never even seen that interview.
Detention center for this robbery. But perhaps this would be a blessing in disguise, as while he was incarcerated, he would claim to have found his purpose in life, beginning to write music and using that as a way to express himself and cope with the pains of life, vowing to become an artist rather than a criminal.
I ain't gonna say it was the best thing that happened. He helped me on my purpose. He helped me on what I was doing. What that music is. I wrote at least like 25 songs in a beat. He helped me learn how to express myself.
Youngboy's family were actually always interested in music. Youngboy claimed to have written his own obscene rap lyrics in the 4th grade, and he had apparently been taken to the studio by his mother, who herself was also an aspiring rapper. And his father had even written to him from jail, telling him that he had been writing music during his 55-year sentence, and encouraging Youngboy to focus on
That 55 years is crazy,
on his
y'all.
release from jail
For shooting
robbery,
somebody in their
Youngboy
leg,
returned
man.
to 38th Street with little more than just a dream of becoming a rapper, along with a lifetime of trauma. And before he could get anywhere with his rap career, he would at least need a stable environment to live in. Luckily, he ended up finding a new place in the
Louisiana, a dirty state, man. They gave Boosie 8 years, yo, for sneaking fucking codeine and marijuana in the joint. 8 years, man. Get the fuck out of here. That's a ticket, yo. It's not even a street charge in Maryland.
Oh, with Youngboy rapping on the song Life, that he met his friend.
Well, it is now, but it didn't used to be. But you ain't gonna get no fucking 8 years out that shit.
According to 3-3, him and Youngboy are essentially brothers, as the two grew up with the same mother, Monique. But Monique is really 3-3's biological mother, as we know that Youngboy is the biological son of Sharonda Gould. But due to the fact that 3-3's mother, Monique, helped raise Youngboy, he often refers to her as his mother as well, which would make 3-3 his adopted brother, and the two do seem to have a relationship that is stronger than most real brothers. And because of this, the two basically just say they're real brothers.
You said you knew him since you were 4?
Yes.
Because you guys are brothers, and you were born around each other, so it's like you don't have any memories of not knowing them.
No, it's like you know how both our daddies split up, you know what I'm saying? So we got the same mamas. Like, man, really, I started making music with my brother. Just really inspired me to go in the booth because it really wasn't about me. It was really about Youngboy, and I was pushing him. And one day he just told me, man, look, come do this with me. And he pushed me to go in the booth, and I just took a liking into it. And, that's where it really started from. So, shout out YB.
Meanwhile, Youngboy's relationship with his own biological mother, Sharonda, was up and down during his childhood. Years down the line, he would open up about this on the song Lonely Child from his October 2019 project, AI Youngboy 2, when he says that even though he called 3-3's mother Monique his adopted mother, he still needs Sharonda in his life. Perhaps due to the lack of a real father figure growing up, meant that he had to rely on both of his mothers for emotional and mental support. But anyway, after getting out...
That's why that boy's so goddamn emotional. That's why he act like that. Why no man, he grew up without no male figures in his life. That's why you be saying them rants online and, it come out in his music. Raised around nothing but women.
Juvenile and finding a new safe space to call home, Youngboy's new spiritual brother 3-3 would be supportive of his aspirations as a rapper. And together, this brotherly duo would get back to finessing on the streets to pay for studio time. Eventually, with Youngboy getting enough recording time in to produce a full-length musical project. And by April the 10th, 2015, Youngboy had released his first ever mixtape, Life Before Fame. This tape featured tracks like Homicide and Range Rover, which showed a 15-year-old Youngboy truly had the skills to pay the bills early on. The album begins with an intro where Youngboy mentions an affiliate of his named D-Dog.
Yo, that's crazy shit. His first album was called Life Before Fame.
Letting fans know straight away that Youngboy had ties with the streets, despite the fact that he was technically still a child at this point. And in the same song, he gives us an insight into his torturous relationships and the reason behind why he finds it so hard to remain faithful to his partners, even at age 15. In the song I Know, Youngboy begins to paint a menacing picture of his position in the local gang hierarchy, mentioning on 2 occasions how he can rely on another known NBA affiliate by the name of Lil Pap to go get him. A brash statement which shows that even at age 15, Youngboy was really in the streets.
Now you know why he mentioned that, right? Pap got arrested for G Money murder. So that's why it was important he established the grounds on this for this lyric right here.
With people around him that he could send to do dirty work. Youngboy would also share his experience with Get Back and Vengeance in his project. On the track Deal With It,
He trying to get Youngboy
how
indicted.
revenge was exacted on the person who killed his uncle, saying that they spotted the person who killed his uncle and that Youngboy witnessed somebody put that person in a casket, and going on to say that the deceased man's brother is now after him. This is an important lyric, as it shows that even back when he was just 15 years old, people were dying around Youngboy, being killed, and he was becoming a target himself, despite not being directly responsible for the violence that had played out. Elsewhere on this song, Youngboy pledges his allegiance to a group called TBG, or Top Boy Gorilla. This is the first crew or record label that Youngboy aligned himself with when he became a rapper. Though unfortunately, as is often the case in the streets, over time, as Youngboy's star rose, tension would brew between the members of TBG, arguing over who the next...
Now, how the fuck can he say what? How long has he been in the streets? Like, how can he make? That's what I'm saying. Like, how can you make a claim like that? Often the case of what's going on in the streets. Like, you don't know that for certain, man. Even if it's true, you never experienced that to speak on that, man.
The group would be, and eventually, what begun as a partnership would devolve into a deadly beef, with members of TBG picking their sides, and the feud escalating into an all-out gang war, with people being murdered on both sides, and years of heartbreak playing out on the streets and in the music.
So one of the most important things for me with anything on the 2 bus is...
When Youngboy left juvenile detention, inspired to become a rapper rather than a robber, the wouldn't take long for others to see the potential this teenage rap prodigy had. From here, a group of people from his neighborhood with ties to the music industry as well as the streets would begin to take him under their wing. Youngboy's first mixtape, Life Before Fame, was actually released under the banner of TBG, with Youngboy and 3-3 being seen in throwback pictures rocking TBG merch. TBG stands for Top Boy Gorilla, a crew with a storied history in the wild and dangerous streets of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. TBG was supposedly started by deceased Louisiana native and affiliate of rap veteran Boosie, Little Ivy Smith. He would turn out to be the uncle of future TBG rap prospect Lil Yoshi. More on him later. Now, Lil Ivy was sadly killed in an unsolved triple homicide back in 2005. However, at this early stage in the game, Youngboy was nothing more than a promising young prospect to these Baton Rouge rap OGs. The older members of TBG were looking to find the next up-and-coming rap rookie who could potentially be the next homegrown rap star to come out of Baton Rouge. And at the time, the real crown jewels.
Yeah, that's fucked up, yo. That them boys' relationship ended like went that way. I mean, like, for all them boys to be around the same area and for them to be close like that, yo, for that shit to end how it ended, that shit down bad to me, man.
As G Money and Fredo Bang, who around the time were picking up steam with their song iPhone 6 alongside Boulevard Mel and YMM Captain. You can tell that Youngboy was truly close with the TBG crew at this point because Youngboy even appeared in the background of the iPhone 6 music video, at one point handing a Gucci bag to Fredo Bang, the moment that would honestly be inconceivable in what would later become a deadly and bitter beef. As the story goes, the TBG crew had ties to Baton Rouge's criminal underworld, and rappers and affiliates of the TBG crew were still involved in the local drug trade. Unfortunately, soon some of this street beef would end up souring things on the music side, because the TBG crew supposedly had a beef going with another Baton Rouge crew called BBG, or Youngboy Gorillas. Gang, crew, clique, record label, call them whatever you want, but BBG and TBG were bitter enemies, with a big rumor at one point going around that Youngboy's cut.
Yo said gang, clique, crew, record label. Call it whatever you want. Yo, crazy. Get the fuck out of here, man.
Cousin Boozilla, who was affiliated with BBG, ended up in a bitter disagreement with G Money from TBG. Now, there's been intense speculation over the years as to what was the exact cause of this beef. Some have suggested that Boozilla ran off with money or drugs from G Money, whilst others suggest that the whole drama was actually over a woman. Another explanation even suggests that it was actually Youngboy himself who stole money from G Money, but actually blamed the finesse on his cousin Boozilla, as Boozilla was seen on Twitter disavowing his own family at one point. G Money seemingly indicating that this rumor was true on his diss track Industry, where he claimed that Youngboy had him looking for Boozilla with a gun, and saying that Boozilla actually wanted to kill Youngboy over this whole situation. There's even an old clip circulating that showed Boozilla and BBG affiliate Baby Joe seemingly posted up with guns looking for Youngboy and saying FNBA. This was unusual because previously Boozilla had claimed to be a member of the group NBA, and even at one point referred to himself as NBA.
Yeah, that's wild. It gotta be more to that story because Baby Joe was Youngboy man. So how the fuck that happened? Like how it go from them boys starting to kill him to now they cool? Like I don't even think that's possible. There gotta be more to that story.
Now, I'll explain to you what NBA means in a minute, but just bear with me. Because meanwhile, as that personal beef was developing, another more professional beef.
He might have put his own spin on that.
TBG crew. According to some, at a certain point, Youngboy got frustrated with the TBG label. This was likely due to the fact that he wasn't necessarily getting the money or shine that he thought he deserved from the crew, with their main focus being on building the careers of G Money, Fredo Bang, rather than investing in Youngboy. So at some point, Youngboy and 3-3 would leave TBG and start their own crew. Initially, 3-3 and Youngboy wanted a group based on Youngboy's initials, Kentrell Golden, or KG. Since KG also means kilograms, the initial idea was to call their crew Weight Gang, another reference to the drug gang.
At first his name was like KG, but then we got, like, that's where the Weight Gang come from, but it
What did
was
KG stand for?
like his initials. That's his name.
Right.
Weight Gang was one of the first things he had came up with.
But clearly that name wasn't really hitting the spot. So later on, a few of the members of this group were just chilling, sitting on their porch, when Youngboy apparently vowed that he was not trying to go broke no more, to which other members of the crew agreed the same thing, with this pledge giving the crew inspiration to name themselves Never Broke Again, or NBA.
Like when we was on the porch one day, it was like, we ain't trying to go broke no more. Then he was like.
So the NBA crew was born, naturally taking some inspiration from the National Basketball Association. They would even make their logo the Jumpman, the iconic logo affiliated with basketball legend Michael Jordan dunking the basketball. But for Never Broke Again, their version would be a man jumping up in the air holding a pistol. Youngboy's NBA crew wanted to go from pistol-toting stick-up kids to music industry heavy hitters being paid as much as professional basketball players. Now, whether or not you like the name, there was no denying that the meaning behind it was powerful. And together, the Never Broke Again crew rallied around Youngboy, vowed to do whatever it took to take him to the top, and make sure that they as a group never go broke again. So, before we dive any deeper into the goings-on of the Never Broke Again crew, let's just take a quick look at some of the main members of that collective so that you can follow everything that's about to go down in this long and complicated story.
Well, apparently, Liu Kang became
Yo, this guy is
the
crazy.
God and reset the Mortal Kombat timeline to create a
This guy is crazy, man.
Youngboy is of course the face of Never Broke Again. The NBA collective is the label's leading rapper. And this crew's bet on getting behind Youngboy's career would ultimately end up paying off handsomely. With his crew's support, he would go on to become one of the biggest artists in the entire world. Then there's OG33, NBA's co-founder, who started the group along with Youngboy and Montana.
I started NBA, like, and then, like, Youngboy just was really, like, the main one who was rapping. Like, I don't really take rapping serious, because, like, Youngboy really made me rap.
After 33's mother took Youngboy in as one of her own, they would build a bond as strong as blood brothers.
We got the same mom, like that.
OG33 is one of 10 children, 5 kids from his mother's side, 5 from his father's side. But he's the oldest of all of them, which has led to him having a mature outlook and a real head on his shoulders, as he's almost had to act like a father figure for Youngboy and his other siblings.
And there's 10 kids altogether, right?
Yeah.
5 from your mom,
Yeah,
5 from your dad.
On both
Yeah, his
sides,
parents must be about my
all
age or something.
Brothers and sisters, because I'm the oldest, so it's just like.
You're almost like a father figure,
Yeah.
in a way.
Yeah.
Is that a lot of responsibility?
Yeah, for sure. But that's just my role. So it's just I took on my role.
When Youngboy didn't really want to rap at first, it was 33 that pushed him and made sure that he stuck with it, dedicating his life to elevating Youngboy's career and keeping him on the right path.
I always was the one that always pushed him, like, cause he didn't really want to rap at first, but then like once I really found out like he was gonna be that, like I pushed him even more harder. Like I was getting like I went back to like record companies was doing, like I was getting 1,000 CDs printed up. Like man, I didn't got them 1,000 CDs and really passed them out. Like this the man of me, like this that.
It's 3 who pulls the strings and make the moves behind the scenes, keeping the ship sailing smoothly and ensuring that the NBA collective runs efficiently and profitably. He apparently would manage the business side of things, sometimes writing contracts or putting shows together.
I was more on like the business and management, like writing contracts and putting shows together for him. Like,
How the fuck is this?
when we first started off, I was
Learn how to write
everything,
contracts.
And Youngboy apparently even inspired OG3 to start making his own music, because before, 3 was just mainly focused on pushing Youngboy's career.
If it wasn't for YB walking me into the booth, I wouldn't even be in the music because I was just mainly pushing him. It wasn't even about me.
Now, 33 does enjoy rapping, but he's also a self-proclaimed CEO, and business is apparently where his passion lies.
My main focus is it wouldn't be a career. I wouldn't choose rap as a career because I am a CEO and I love my position.
But 3 has also gained a cult following of his own from being the head honcho of the NBA crew. And considering the dark reputation that has followed Youngboy over the many deadly years of his career, this has led to many internet fans.
Don't call them the many deadly years. God damn.
Mastermind behind the violence playing out in Baton Rouge, with many Reddit posts circulating, constantly speculating on how many deaths that 33 might be responsible for, even sometimes referring to him as the Grim Reaper. But it's unclear if that is just straight trolling, because in reality, OG3 has always tried to look out and take care of Youngboy and keep him on the straight and narrow, acting as the voice of reason.
Oh, he trying to make these boys seem overly dangerous. He showed a post from Reddit, from who knows who, calling that man the Grim. I ain't never heard nobody call no OG3 the Grim Reaper. Like, that is not his name. He did not have to put that part into the documentary.
His life.
That's my baby brother. I always look out for him. I always take care of him. But like I don't ever expect him to do nothing bad. But he don't do it intentionally. It might be on accident. But I always talk to him and enforce that like we shouldn't be doing a lot of things. And he listens. So it's like I always was that type of person. I always was that.
Kind of like the voice of reason for when he gets a little hot-headed. You're like, so that help calm him down. He's probably listening to you, and he ain't trying to listen to a lot of random people.
Yeah, he ain't gonna listen to nobody. If it ain't me.
Then you've got Montana. According to a Billboard article profiling
I ain't
Youngboy,
seen Montana in a long time.
found Youngboy's music early on YouTube, and in the absence of a father figure or any real older male role model in his family, it seems like Montana assumed a kind of father figure role for Youngboy in the early stages of his life and career, giving him guidance on how to survive the gritty streets of North Baton Rouge. In fact, in the song Lonely Child from his October 2019 project AI Youngboy 2, Youngboy admits that he has been missing his father, and as a result, he actually calls Montana his father. Montana would help co-found the Never Broke Again label along with Youngboy and 3-3, with interviews explaining that in the early days of NBA, Youngboy would be sleeping on an air mattress at Montana's house, at a time when Montana played the role of manager, booking agent, and financier, driving Youngboy all around the South to perform for between $500 and $1,500 a show to build his fan base in the early days. However, there's always been confusion over exactly who Youngboy's manager specifically is, and to be fair, it has changed over the years. For a period of time, Youngboy's manager was a man by the name of Big Dump, sometimes referred to as Youngboy's manager or
He got these boys on the fucking like they put in the police station. Like the subject number 1, subject number 2, like a whole investigation. At the top it say Operation Never Broke Again or something. Like, yo, he crazy, yo.
It was Dump who was there for Youngboy during the most turbulent years of his come up, but Dump would ultimately end up losing his life in 2018, seemingly as a direct result of the deadly street beef between these two warring Baton Rouge gang sets. But we'll go much deeper into that situation later on in the story. Another person who played a significant role on the management side is someone called Fee Banks, a Louisiana industry legend who had apparently helped Lil Wayne start Young Money and previously managed Kevin Gates. These people are the brains and administrators behind the NBA empire. And then, when it comes to the rapping side,
got him all the way over there.
members with a much closer proximity to the streets. Now, there's a lot of names that have been affiliated with this crew over the years, and this list is by no means a definitive list of everyone who has had something to do with NBA as a crew, so don't be offended if you got left off. But these are just some of the people who have played a major role in Youngboy's crew and who play a relevant role in today's story. I'm talking about people like NBA Ben 10. This is OG3's younger blood cousin and a day one NBA affiliate. Ben met Youngboy at 3's house, and apparently the two had a fight.
I think Ben 10 just came home.
And 3 first cousins, blood. We used to stay together. Just my mom used to live together, so that's how I met 3. I met them the 3 of us. I met them. We had a fight. Same day, you heard me?
But apparently after this fight, they would share a blunt and become good friends, going on to make money and catch cases together since they were just 12 years old.
Hey, yo. Yo, this nigga crazy. Oh, shit.
Yeah, I became part of the NBA same day. Like
How old y'all was like around that time?
I'd say probably turn 12 or 12.
They said they went on to make money and smoke blunts together.
Media, particularly Instagram, where he would give exclusive insights and snippets into the world of Never Broke Again. 10 still posts regularly on Instagram despite
They got locked up the next day.
down, and he's even seen some recent success.
Yeah, I heard he out.
Rapper with
I heard he
songs
out.
that contain the
Well, that's what I was saying on the internet earlier.
million views each. But he's
I ain't
a
look into it myself.
Not somebody to be messed with. He was seen on IG Live with Youngboy, Baby Joe, and other NBA members playing with guns, with Ben 10 letting off shots on IG Live, causing Baby Joe to duck for cover. BBG Baby Joe is another one of Youngboy's cousins, who despite his young age, has lived through a lot, including a bullet to the face.
You know, you guys wrong.
They just had Baby Joe in the background with the dudes threatening Youngboy, but now he's saying that's his cousin. Come on, man, you gotta be consistent, baby.
On the freeway, I think it was you and 2 friends, and a car opened fire on you guys.
We wasn't even Walmart.
They say Baby Joe told.
Cake and ice cream from
That's what Lil Yoshi said.
Walk out Walmart, I see this. And then I didn't get shot on the interstate.
I think Yoshi locked up for shooting Baby Joe.
I shot at the light. Was at the light, and then it just went like that. Yeah, man.
Despite facing serious danger in the streets, Baby Joe has been aiming to make a name for himself in the music industry and make himself some legitimate money. His 2018 song, Iraq, has over 5 million views, and as a beloved member of the NBA crew, Joe's name often pops up in Youngboy's songs. And if these lyrics are anything to go by, it seems that Joe's relationship with the streets remains strong. Another key member of the crew is Michi Baby. Well known as Youngboy's raspy-voiced big cousin, he's best known for his early 2000s-style song Cutlass, as well as his 2020 track with Youngboy, Talk My... A track which has amassed an impressive 47 million views at the time of recording. Youngboy has talked about hitting licks and doing burglaries with his older cousin Michi on numerous occasions in his lyrics, leading some listeners to think that it was perhaps Michi who had influenced Youngboy's involvement with the streets in his early life. Then of course you have Big B, who picked up a lot of attention for his fire verse on the NBA posse cut, That Gang, which picked up over 5 million views and also featured 3-3 and KD. Big B exhibits a more conventional rapping style compared to some other members of the NBA crew, with less laid-back melodies and catchy hooks, and more hard-hitting bars and punchy refrains delivered with aggressiveness and energy on the mic. There's NBA KD. He's known musically for his versatility and distinct flow, as well as a standout performance on the song That Gang. He also popped up with a verse on the song Extortion with Big B and 3-3, a track which got over 2 million views. His biggest solo track is the 2018 song When I Wake Up, and KD showed a lot of promise and potential in the early years of rap. Unfortunately, his momentum was derailed by a life-changing injury getting shot in 2019. Reportedly, after this incident, KD was confined to a wheelchair. However, there's been a lot of speculation as to whether he was walking again after a period of rehabilitation. Whilst that's not been confirmed, since
He going to Reddit to get a lot of that shit.
But it's a beloved
Oh, that's Reddit.
Another major member of the crew is Herm the Black Sheep. Musically, fans appreciate Herm for his real and authentic lyrics and subject matter rather than his style or flow on the mic. And if the content of his lyrics are to be believed, he is certainly not one to be messed with. In the same vein, there's also Who Gang D, aka Lil D, or Scully. This is another.
Just to say, this is what I'm saying though, y'all. I didn't even know, like I never heard of him. I didn't know nothing about KD. Or maybe it's just me, man.
With a serious reputation in the streets and his own budding rap career, with his catchy double-meaning titled song, Can't Go to Sleep, running up 1.6 million views at the time of this writing. Interestingly though, D wasn't even aware that he was Youngboy's cousin when they first became friends, apparently only finding out later through his mother and grandfather.
I didn't know he was my cousin at first.
Oh, really?
I was studying with him at first. And then my mama had texted me like when I was with him for a whole month straight, or I been for a month, she had texted me, she was like, she talked to my papa, and he told her that I had a cousin named NBA Youngboy that rap. You know what I'm saying? She was like, for real, that's crazy, he already been hanging with him.
He's apparently the survivor of a gunshot wound to the neck, with Youngboy having dropped numerous lyrics complimenting D as a reliable shooter, even going as far in the song Bring the Hook to label him a headshot specialist.
Joe said he was complimenting him. He was complimenting him as a fucking shooter. That's not no goddamn compliment. That's what I'm saying, yo. Like, he glorizing this gangster shit. And it's nothing glorious about it, yo. This shit is stressful. It's painful. I mean, motherfucker wake up with nightmares and like it fuck your head up mentally. But he's presenting this information like this is the way to be. This is cool. This is acceptable. But this is what get put out there. This motherfucker got 1 million views. Probably do 20 million. You feel me? But this is not what we need for our community, yo. That's why we don't need. It's like if I was to do this documentary the same way, how I would have worded it would have been totally different, yo. Totally different. He presenting this information, yo, like this is the cool thing to do, yo. Fuck what he said in the beginning. You feel me? Because that don't even matter. Because what he's saying now, he said he complimenting him as a fucking shooter. It's not no compliment. Listen to the music in the background.
How'd you get the nickname Scully?
From this tattoo, I'm just say it like that. They can shooting the score. It's good.
He's got a promising rap career, a likable personality, and big potential to be a star on the mic if he can stay out of trouble. You've also got Lil Pamp, Ben 10's little brother, and a known shooter for the NBA crew in the streets. Youngboy has mentioned him as being active in the streets in numerous songs, labeling him specifically as somebody who Youngboy can call on for certain favors.
I told y'all what he was doing at the beginning, right? When he was talking about his family in the beginning, he was setting the grounds for what he was going to do later, and go back to the lyrics and then talk about shootings. Yo, this is crazy, yo. This is police work to the T. Not even police work. This is prosecution work.
He recently got 5 years for his apparent involvement in the murder of TBG
A
rapper.
prosecutor can take this whole documentary and use it in court. Just the same way I just said it. If he telling the truth about this, who's to say he lying about this? You see what I'm saying? If this is the truth, why this not the truth?
Money, which we will discuss in detail shortly. There's also NBA Tropical, a big man with a big range in his vocals.
Never heard of him.
A singing voice to the mic that serves to provide a canvas for his dark and menacing lyrics. Then you've got Barber, one of Youngboy's frequently referenced shooters. Like Pat, Barber, or Baba Osama, is mentioned.
He just came home not too long ago.
Violent songs, with Youngboy even rapping on the track Carter's Son that he calls up Barber to get the guns and go and rob people for him. Now, Barber has a pretty extensive rap sheet demonstrating just how active he was in the streets, and he's currently locked up on murder charges. But these aren't your average murder charges. It's actually been reported that Barber Osama is facing a whopping 9 counts of murder, with some recent posts on social media even suggesting that Barber Osama was actively working as a gang assassin or hitman, engaging in murder for hire for numerous gangs. Now, that's not necessarily everybody that's been involved with Youngboy's NBA crew over the years, but they are the people that we'll be talking about most extensively in today's story. Clearly, Youngboy's NBA crew are a group of young men coming out of some of the most difficult streets that the Deep South has to offer. Clearly, some of these guys...
Yo, down there, all them boys are still living. Only one that's dead out that them boys he mentioned was Dump. How you gonna do a documentary like this on people that's still living? Like, yo, this is crazy.
Law and even kill to protect what's theirs. Whether that's their own lives, the lives of those around them, or the life of their top breadwinner, Youngboy. The NBA crew are truly willing to do whatever it takes to make sure that they indeed never go broke again. However, there's been a lot of confusion over the years, because as well as NBA, there's another group that Youngboy and other NBA members shout out a lot.
You said Baba not home, he ain't home yet?
It would appear that while Youngboy started his record label in the name NBA, or Never Broke Again, his affiliations to actual gangs in the streets of Baton Rouge goes by another name. Youngboy has dropped numerous lyrics where he claims to be a member of the gang 4K Trey, who sometimes refer to themselves as Slimes. He's also made numerous references to being in America's infamous Blood Gang. Now, slime is a decades-old term that has been associated over the years with Blood Gang members. This term was initially brought to the public's attention by Blood rapper Vardo, who released numerous projects that would reference slime, with the usage of the blood slang slime and slat being popularized in mainstream modern rap music by Atlanta Blood rapper Young Thug, who is currently incarcerated awaiting trial for gang-affiliated charges. Now, this slime ID...
Atlanta Blood rapper Young Thug, who's currently on trial facing gang charges. Get the fuck out of here. You can't make this shit up.
Ideology essentially sees Blood members identifying under the color green rather than the traditional red bandana that Blood members are known to wear. And as Youngboy got further into the music industry, he would seemingly build close relationships with other rappers who were known to affiliate with the Blood Gang or identified as slime. People like Birdman, 21 Savage, and Young Thug himself. And as the years went by, Youngboy would increasingly use his lyrics and music videos to shout out his affiliations to 4K Trey, the Blood Gang, or Slimes, even naming his Never Broke Again label compilation album Green Flag Activity, along with him and his crew frequently being seen in public with nothing but slime green bandanas and blue clothing. They would also sometimes refer to each other as Fours for 4K Trey. However, for the specific explanation of the gang's name, 4K Trey, this has been a mystery that has sparked debate amongst NBA fans for years. One popular theory is that it simply means 4K Trey, and that his 4KT gang are killing or shooting specifically for Youngboy, or Kentrell. Another popular theory claims that 4KT actually stands for Forever Killing Them, a more general rallying cry against their ops. Others think that 4KT actually relates to the names of Youngboy's first children.
This is speculation. Why put speculation in the documentary, man? Because people will run off with it as facts. Even though he's saying that it's speculation, but sometimes you can't leave things up to people own imagination or determination, man. That shit can be dangerous sometimes.
students, 4 of their names beginning with K and 1 beginning with T, with this being a more vanilla interpretation of the gang's name, suggesting that 4KT is a way of Youngboy saying that he's essentially doing what he does for his children, whose initials are K and T. Another explanation circulates, suggesting that 4KT actually means 4 Crazy Trey. This is a reference to Crazy Trey, the young man from Baton Rouge who was gunned down at a party in 2014.
That's probably what it means.
Close friends with one of Youngboy's biggest enemies.
That's what it sounds like it means. I would run with that more than any of them explanations for Crazy Trey.
From Baton Rouge, Fredo Bang, a detail which has led many to suggest that this actually could possibly be the true meaning of 4K Trey, with some outright denying this explanation, suggesting that Youngboy had not even yet associated with Fredo Bang at the time 4KT was founded. There's yet another theory that 4KT actually refers to Youngboy's cousin Boozilla, who was killed in 2016, as his real name was Keandre, with a suggestion that 4K Trey actually was originally 4K Dre, or Keandre, but the Dre over time ended up being changed to Trey. Now look, at this stage, it's unclear exactly what 4K Trey stands for.
It don't even matter.
Perhaps we aren't supposed to know the real meaning. And the idea that the true origins of this gang that Youngboy supposedly affiliates with being shrouded in secrecy kind of makes perfect sense.
I wonder what's making them go to Reddit to get a lot of this information.
Would even say in his song Way Up that he actually threw a girl out just for even asking what 4K Trey meant. Clearly it's a secret, and clearly I'm not supposed to know, which means you are definitely not supposed to know. But now you know the city, the gangs, the label, and the people behind the music, let's take a closer look at the story, the incredible ups, the devastating downs, the lessons to be learned from Youngboy's one-of-a-kind career and life journey.
Here's one thing you need to do before buying
How the
anything
fuck
online.
you know it's supposed
Don't
to be
spend
lying?
another dime on Amazon until you watch this first.
This man not even in the United States.
After falling out with his old label and crew, TBG or Top Boy Gorillas, Youngboy and his brother from another mother, OG3, would start their new crew, NBA, vowing to make it in the rap game and never go broke again.
Day one, that's when NBA started from, like, me and him sitting on that porch, like, really saying we wasn't trying to go broke no more.
The formation of his new NBA crew was announced with a bang when Youngboy dropped his earliest surviving music video, aptly titled NBA, on his own YouTube channel. That video saw Youngboy and 3-3 surrounded by their NBA muscle all around 38th Street with all types of firearms. And the song itself came with lyrics where Youngboy shouted out his shooter, NBA Pat, rapping that he sets Pat to go and hit people up, as well as shouting out another shooter as NBA Connor with the Mac 11, going on to describe his NBA shooters.
You just gonna call that man his shooter, man, like you stabbing it as a fact, even though he rapping it. How you just gonna say that, calling out his shooter, NBA Pat? Knowing NBA Pat got locked up for the G Money shit. I don't know, man. I don't be liking that, yo. You can't just stamp that like that. He ain't even say allegedly.
Proficient with firearms as Navy SEALs. He would also rap about the cops and his ops in the city trying to hunt him down, and naming NBA outright as the gang that he represents. Youngboy's first ever mixtape, Life Before Fame,
The gang that he represents. You see how you put that? The gang.
Visible on the bottom left of the cover up. But by December 1st,
It's a key word.
Youngboy was going at it alone under his new NBA banner, with a fresh mixtape, Mind of a Menace, being released fully independently and presented under the banner of his own NBA crew. And it would appear that Youngboy and NBA were using
Youngboy still got charges to face in Baton Rouge that it looked like he might not beat.
Opportunity to drop sneak disses and disrespect towards their former crew, TBG. On the project, he would drop several lines that were directed towards
That's why they did this documentary. This documentary was to make sure Youngboy go to prison on them charges he facing in Baton Rouge, man. Yeah, because this was surprising. Out the blue, he just do a documentary on NBA Youngboy. 6 hours. Yo, that's what he did this for, y'all. I guarantee y'all, that this documentary or some of this information that he put together is going to be in that next case that that boy got in Baton Rouge. I promise you.
TBG. He suggesting that they envied him and that he wasn't willing to work under somebody else's administration. Youngboy was beginning to build momentum independently of his former crew, and he'd keep his foot on the gas into 2016, following up his second mixtape with Speed on April the 1st, 2016.
Because people, he can get information that the police can't get. Because people will give him information just so they feel like they're part of the documentary. You know, people with inside knowledge, but they won't go to the police. So that's how, same shit with Trenches News. That's how a lot of these bloggers got. You know, I ain't gonna say, yo, like they can dig a little bit deeper sometimes, yo, than the police can, man. Because sometimes the streets will go to these people, or people that know information will go to these people, and it's not considered snitching.
Only 4 months after Mind of a Menace dropped, Youngboy blessed his budding fan base with a sequel, Mind of a Menace 2. And on this project, he continued to drop shade on his former crew PBG. In the intro for this tape, he suggests that they didn't live up to their promises and says that he's ready to go to war with his former allies. Then, in the song A Lot Miles, Youngboy explains that rather than switching on TBG like some say he did, he actually claims to have just gotten smarter and that he hasn't really changed at all. Perhaps indicating that he felt he got smart to what was going on and realised that his career would benefit more as a free agent. Youngboy would seemingly indicate his team's readiness to go to war with their former crew on the track Fact, rapping that he's riding around with Pap, OG3 and guns, looking for their ops and aiming to make their guns go boom when they see them. Around this time, it seemed clear that Youngboy formed his winning strategy of flooding the internet with music through frequent mixtape releases. Less than 3 months after Mind of a Menace 2, Youngboy would drop yet another mixtape, Before I Go, which was released on June the 27th, 2016. And on this project, Youngboy would begin to drop hits, alluding to the ongoing beef with G Money, the star rapper of his former crew, TBG, Top Boy Gorillas. Youngboy would also be shooting more threats to his former crew on the song Change, saying Youngboy, not TBG, and if someone plays, he's gonna get it. And another lyric on the song Change seemed to acknowledge a rumour that G Money had actually hooked up with Youngboy's sister, with Youngboy saying he won't speak on sleeping with my sister, something that perhaps wasn't public knowledge at the time of this song's release. But around a year later, G Money would openly admit and kind of brag about hooking up with Youngboy's sister in a Say Cheese interview.
He met about his sister too, though.
About his sister?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Oh, okay.
The beef between Youngboy and G Money would be further complicated by Youngboy's cousin Boozilla. Boozilla repped BBG, or Bot Boy Gorillas. They were the main rivals of TBG until Youngboy started his NBA crew. The story goes that G Money from TBG was beefing Boozilla from BBG over some stolen drugs. Drugs which some believe Youngboy himself may have actually stolen, blaming Boozilla. This theory is based on lyrics G Money rapped on his song Industry, where he claimed that Youngboy's own cousin wanted to kill him. So, on July the 16th, 2016, Youngboy's cousin Boozilla drops the song Forgive Me, where he's dissing TBG for repping BBG. He wears a BBG t-shirt in the video, and he shouts out the Bot Boys as his crew. He'd rap lyrics seeming to suggest that he was a shooter and that he wants to kill a rapper. But more specifically, he dissed another local rapper by the name of FL Deucer. Deucer is from the FL, or Forever Loyalty crew, who would later be closely affiliated with TBG, with Deucer himself later dropping numerous songs with Fredo Bang, Lit Yoshi, and other TBG artists. In Boozilla's song Forgive Me, he raps that Deucer is scared to walk through the South, and that he's laying down the law in his area. Apparently the beef between Boozilla and Deucer was extremely personal, and would eventually turn deadly. But before things would escalate to more violence, Youngboy would end up making a huge leap forward in his rap career. On September the 21st, 2016, Youngboy drops the video for his breakout track, 38 Baby, named after the street he grew up on, Northside 38. This song was a window into his life, fresh out in the streets. The track painted a picture of his daily life, drinking lean, smoking with demons, and sending his hitters at people for any reason he can find, explaining how he's not able to go anywhere without being armed, and having to look out for old friends who turned on him over envy. Frankly, this song described a lot of pressure for a 16-year-old kid to be dealing with at the time. In the track, he also seemed to drop shade on G Money and TBG, denying their claims that they blew him up as a rapper, and claiming that they just don't like the fact that he's now blowing up faster than them. The music video for 38 Baby saw Youngboy and his friends toting plenty of firearms, and many people were taken aback by seeing somebody so young, surrounded by so much danger, communicating the stark reality of their life so clearly over a catchy beat. Hell, footage would later even...
Yeah, I don't even understand how YouTube allows... Like, as strict as YouTube is, they allow people to wave firearms in music videos. Y'all don't think that's strange? They don't want you cussing. They don't want you speaking on certain topics. But yet and still, they allow all these young niggas to put guns in their videos. See how he got it blacked out? He not even showing it. But if you go to their video on YouTube, it's not. That's crazy, y'all.
songs from around this period with an actual AK-47 on him in the recording booth. This 16-year-old young boy was living a life truly beyond his years, and this spectacle would attract the attention of many, many more fans and music industry players. The song 38 Baby and its music video has garnered over 100 million views on YouTube to this day, and the song itself was followed by a full mixtape, also titled 38 Baby, which dropped on October the 28th, 2016. This project would truly be Youngboy's career professionally. He would finally get co-signs from respected rappers in the industry. As on the mixtape itself, Youngboy secured collaborations with fellow Louisiana Baton Rouge legends such as Kevin Gates and Boosie Badass, as well as a verse from his day one brother OG3. In fact, Kevin Gates, after appearing on the 38 Baby mixtape track Like Me, even got a portrait of Youngboy tattooed on his right leg just to show his admiration for the rising Louisiana legend. And Boosie would invite Youngboy to feature on his November 2016 track My Lil' Son, where Youngboy rapped menacingly about sliding on his ops with NBA Joe and 3-3. But back to the 38 Baby mixtape. As well as gaining Youngboy the respect of heavy hitters in the Baton Rouge rap scene, it also gained Youngboy an enormous amount of fame and success in the eyes of his fan base. But bizarrely, in very Youngboy fashion, rather than reveling in the success of his latest release, just a week after the 38 Baby project dropped, he came out with yet another mixtape, Mind of a Menace 3, releasing on November the 4th, 2016. This time coming with yet another major industry co-sign, a remix of his song Murder, featuring Atlanta blood rapper 21 Savage. A remix which also dropped...
Why do you gotta keep mentioning these guys' gang affiliation? Why does he keep doing that? Every time he mentioned Young Thug, 21 Savage, he mentioned the fact that they supposed to be in the gang. That's unnecessary, y'all. And it's a reason he's doing that. It's unnecessary. You said it, we already know. You said it 15 minutes ago. Why say it again? Like he trying to... Yeah. Pay attention to the wordplay, man. It's important.
Youngboy even later claimed that he became a member of 21 Savage's set The Blood Gang, or L, and they seemingly fostered a close relationship, something which would unfortunately deteriorate years later. But regardless, at this point, Youngboy seems...
He glamorizing his life to the kids, man.
Major moves that would have Youngboy's name ringing not just in the streets, but also in the corner offices of record labels. At a certain point in 2016, he started working with super manager P. Banks, a Louisiana industry legend who had apparently helped Lil Wayne start Young Money and previously managed Kevin Gates. Fee would begin to advocate on behalf of Youngboy in the music industry, ultimately putting him in the position to field multi-million-dollar offers from major record labels. So at this point, Youngboy was seemingly set. He had survived the dangerous streets of Northside 38, escaping the trenches with his life, and escaping the clutches of his former crew TBG, as a free agent able to take his career wherever he wanted without hindrance. The problem is, sometimes you can rise to the top so fast that it hurts. And unfortunately for Youngboy, troubling legal issues seem to arrive just as quickly as the money and fame did. And unfortunately, due to the brewing troubles in the streets between his former crew and his extended family, Youngboy would end up being placed in a difficult position, ultimately catching a serious case that had the potential to put a complete stop to his promising career just as it was getting started.
Gotta pay attention to the words he using, because they're intentional.
While Youngboy's star is beginning to rise, the deadly war on the streets of Baton Rouge is raging on. After departing from the crew TBG, Top Boy Gorilla, Youngboy and his Never Broke Again or NBA collective would become bitter rivals with the former crew. And this situation was only complicated further by the ongoing drama between TBG and their original rivals, BBG, Bottom Boy Gorillas, a crew which Youngboy's cousin Boozilla was a prominent member of. Despite the two apparently having a falling out in 2015, it would seem that by 2016, Boozilla and Youngboy's NBA crew had made things right, as Boozilla would post on Twitter that he'd forgiven, as well as tweeting warning people not to play with BBG or NBA, suggesting that these two crews were in alliance against TBG and any of their affiliates. But things would all come to a head for these warring groups at the end of 2016. On July the 16th, 2016, Youngboy's cousin Boozilla drops the song Forgive Me, where he's dissing TBG and repping BBG, with lyrics in the song dissing another local rapper by the name of FL Dusa, saying Dusa is scared to walk through the South and that they're laying down the law in their area. It would seem that this lyric was taken as a personal challenge by his opposition, as just after midnight on November the 2nd, 2016, Youngboy's cousin, 18-year-old BBG Boozilla, real name Keandre Briggs, would be riding his bike near the 2000 block of Nebraska Street, less than a block from his family home. And it was here where he was targeted by gunmen who shot him multiple times in the upper torso and left him dead in the middle of the street. Boozilla's mother would go on to do a distraught interview with WAFB News after reports of the brutal killing became public.
You got a very young child. This is so wrong when people kill kids.
Kenya Taylor is still grieving more than a month after her son, 18-year-old Keandre Ricks, was shot and killed just steps away from his Nebraska street home.
It's like I'm dreaming and I haven't woke up yet. Like I had a bad dream. I'm just waiting on the Lord to wake me up.
Taylor walked us over to where her son's body was found, a place she's visited often, trying to make sense of this senseless killing.
Then this way he must have fell in right here. Because they had blood all right here.
Now, after this shooting, things get very complicated. It's widely believed that the murder of Boozilla was in connection with the ongoing feud that he had going with FL Doosa, with the majority of the comments on Boozilla's music video Forgive Me seeming to mock him, saying that he said Doosa is scared to walk through the South, and suggesting that this caused somebody to come through and take his life. Now, despite the differences they may have had in the past, naturally the murder of Boozilla would have devastating effects on his cousin Youngboy and other members of NBA and BBG. So, unsurprisingly, it didn't take long for those on Boozilla's side to attempt to get revenge for his murder. Boozilla was killed around midnight on Wednesday the 2nd November 2016, and retaliation would come around 9.5 hours later, when around 9:30 a.m. on the 2000 block of Kentucky Street, just a couple of blocks away from where the fatal shooting of Boozilla occurred, a vehicle containing Youngboy and 3 of his NBA affiliates pulls up and starts shooting. Unfortunately, this attempt at revenge ends up going wrong, and somebody from Youngboy's group ends up getting shot in the neck. Allegedly, NBA Joe.
Police find a man suffering from a gunshot wound to the neck, saying he was shot in a different neighborhood just a few streets away.
With rumours circulating, debating whether or not it was friendly fire from Youngboy or his sidekick Joe, or the targets of their gunfire returning fire and connecting. And years later, the police report from the incident would even suggest that Youngboy himself had been firing from the vehicle with an assault rifle. Regardless of exactly who was responsible, at this point the getaway car flees the scene, with the shooters and the injured man driving to the area of May and East Lakeshore Drive. Ultimately, this car would end up getting a flat tire and crashing at the LSU Lakes. Here, the shooters flee, leaving the injured man in his vehicle, where he's fortunately found by police and given medical attention. Naturally, it didn't take long for details of these outrageous back-to-back shootings to hit the news.
At this hour, there are a lot of questions remaining around 2 Baton Rouge shootings. One left a teenager dead, the other ended with the victim wounded at LSU Lakes.
Possibly 3 different scenes, and all 3 may be connected. That's what Baton Rouge police are trying to figure out. They've been interviewing witnesses, but so far they do not have any suspects.
Just after midnight, Baton Rouge police went out to Nebraska Street. 18-year-old Keandre Ricks was found dead, lying in the street, shot multiple times in the chest. Neighbors in the area tell us they saw a silver-colored Hyundai with 3 people inside driving around the area late night and into this morning. Then, shortly after 9:30 this morning, police get a call from a man shot once in the neck around the LSU Lakes. When they finally found him, he was in a silver-colored Hyundai. He was transported to the hospital and listed in stable condition as of now. Baton Rouge police have said the shooting did not start here at the lakes. Instead, they're looking to see if 3 different scenes are all connected. The first was at Nebraska, well, just 8 streets over, or 0.4 miles away. Around 9:30 this morning, police say a man was shot in the neck. He, or the suspect, then drove 1.4 miles to East Lakeshore in May, around the LSU Lakes, and called police for help.
This is not a random shooting. They believe the shooter and victim actually did know each other.
Surprisingly, however, the violence was still not over, and the following day, on the 3rd of November 2016, at roughly 9:49 a.m., shooters would return to the street where Boozilla lived with his family and was killed, with officers nearby claiming to have heard 37 gunshots, apparently fired by 2 shooters, who then fled the scene in a getaway vehicle. They would leave 2 homes on the street, riddled with bullets, and at this point, the violence in Baton Rouge, held just in this street alone, was spiraling out of control. And at a certain point, the danger was so high that the authorities placed the local school on lockdown out of fear that further shootings would affect the children in the local community.
A number of schools in East Baton Rouge Parish are on lockdown for separate reasons. And today we start with the 3 schools that were also placed on lockdown yesterday.
Police are still on scene here at the intersection of Nebraska and East Harrison Street. They're looking into reports of shots fired earlier today. Now you can see details are still very limited, but much of the investigation is centered around this white home here right near the intersection.
Did a good job putting this shit together though.
This is the latest
as far as the clips, I don't like what he talking about.
Including one that left an 18-year-old dead. The teen was found shot to death Wednesday in the
Shit, this whole every time he speaks, it's like a dog whistle.
Then yesterday morning around 9:30, a man was shot in the neck on Kentucky Street, which is just a couple of blocks from the spot where that fatal shooting occurred. The victim left the area in a car and then parked around the LSU lakes to call for help. These recent violent incidents near Nebraska have left some residents feeling uneasy.
At this point, even people living on this street were being interviewed by the news, telling them that it's like living in hell.
I live on this street, and this is about the worst street to live on. You say living in hell, this is hell right here. The young folks don't have no respect for old eligible.
At some point, the shooting would stop, the smoke would clear, and local...
See, that's a goddamn shame. He should have said, they out there motherfucking terrorizing them neighbors, man. But that's what I'm saying. He don't give a fuck about none of that. You know, his whole focus is the glamorized street life. You know, he just glossed over the fact, yeah, he showed it. You know, but that was the time to really, you know, teach. You know what I mean? The violence that these niggas is committing, allegedly, is affecting the neighbors. It's closing down the schools. You know what I mean? That shit bringing trauma on innocent children that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. They just try to go to school and get an education. They'll never forget that. Because they know what's going on. They know why they at school locked down. Old lady probably lived on that block for 30 years. Probably the worst that block ever been. Now she's scared to go out and take out the trash. It's fucking crazy.
Investigators would finally be able to piece together exactly what had happened and putting those involved in handcuffs. A 17-year-old man by the name of Trayshawn Coates would be arrested and charged with second-degree murder for the killing of Boozilla, along with a 27-year-old man by the name of Monty Carey. This was reported in The Advocate that also published an interview with Boozilla's mother. In it, she would claim that since the killing, her other children's grades have fallen in school and that they're suffering
See?
relations. And I thought that this was
That's the shit I'm talking about. Innocent people. Just for speaking about that.
an important detail to include, because you have to remember that when somebody gets killed in a gang feud, it starts a chain reaction, and ultimately, this cycle of violence affects far more than just the victims. Whether it's their innocent relatives suffering depression following the incident,
Oh, he did speak to it.
vow to commit acts of violence in revenge, a vicious cycle is started when that first killing happens, that only accelerates with more retaliation, dragging more and more innocent
Yeah,
people.
he could have dug a little bit deeper.
Anyway, despite the rumors that FL Dusa was involved in the killing of Boozilla after he dissed him on the song Forgive Me, Dusa, real name Renard Clifton, would not be connected to this incident officially, though theories would circulate online suggesting that he was the one that sent the hit. He would remain free following this incident, going on to release songs like Straight Facts. However, he would end up in...
If he not connected to it, why bring him into it? You see what I'm saying? The man wasn't charged with it. See, this is the police shit. People was already arrested for it. Why did he have to mention this man's name in a whole situation where he wasn't arrested, he wasn't charged? Why throw in that? Well, it was possible that he could have dropped some money. Well, it's possible that he had nothing to do with it. If he had something to do with it, he'd have been locked up, man. It's bullshit.
in jail on a separate attempted murder charge stemming from a double shooting on the 3rd of June 2018, which we'll go into in detail later. But with the shooters of Boozilla in cuffs, the Baton Rouge police would next be tasked with finding those NBA members.
Because he could still get charged with that murder, man. You know, ain't no statutory limit on murder. He could still be charged with that murder 20 years down the line.
Day, with one member who got shot in the neck already in the arms of law enforcement. Their next job was to get their hands on Youngboy himself. A warrant was issued for his arrest, and he would be tracked down by authorities, being arrested on November the 28th, being taken into custody by US Marshals just before he could get on stage at a show in Austin, Texas, in dramatic scenes that were even caught on camera.
Hey, get inside, get inside. Hey, get the hell inside, get the fuck inside.
Youngboy was charged on suspicion of attempted first-degree murder from the alleged drive-by shooting, while NBA Big B, real name True Laundry Norman, was also involved in the shooting but wouldn't get arrested for his role in it until 2019. There was also NBA Ben 10, real name Ben Fields, who would also be identified as having participated in this drive-by shooting. As a result, following the arrest of the NBA crew and Youngboy himself, the local news would begin to report on this dramatic takedown.
Yeah, how the fuck did Big Ben get locked up 3 years later for that shit? That's been my speculation about Youngboy the whole time. That's very strange to me. Big B got locked up 3 years later after Youngboy got locked up for that shooting in Miami. And Youngboy was sitting on that case. Big B got locked up. Then Pav got locked up for G Money shit. Then Youngboy came home.
Baton Rouge's most promising rappers.
17-year-old rapper Contrell, better known by his stage name NBA Youngboy, is behind bars tonight after being taken into custody by federal authorities before a concert in Austin, Texas.
Tonight, police say they've arrested 17-year-old Contrell, a rapper known by his stage name NBA Youngboy, in connection to a drive-by shooting on Kentucky Street. Detectives believe those shootings may have been in retaliation to Rick's death and say more arrests are possible as they continue to investigate.
Here's how you can make the most money by streaming. Go over to Kick and just start streaming there because the payouts they give you are insane for your...
At this point, Youngboy would be taken back to Louisiana and booked into prison with a $200,000 bond being set. But the Baton Rouge police weren't done seeking justice yet, as the final piece of the puzzle would fall into place once police announced an arrest in the third shooting, which occurred on Boozilla Street the day after NBA members had attempted to get revenge for his death the previous night, with cops identifying 20-year-old Derek Geis, who was taken into custody, accused of being the getaway driver for 2 other shooters, being charged with attempted murder, attempted second-degree murder, aggravated criminal damage of property, illegal use of a weapon, and simple criminal damage to property. And he would ultimately end up pleading down to a lesser weapons charge and getting only 2 years in jail, with cops ultimately identifying one of the shooters in the case as Michael Odenyinma, as well as, shockingly, Trayshawn Coates, that very same person who was charged for the Boozilla murder just the day before. Which means that if true, the person that killed Boozilla did it, got spun on by NBA, and still went back the very next day and shot up that same block again. But unfortunately, due to him being just age 17, there was never any public reporting on whether or not he was found guilty for these crimes or sentenced. The murder of Boozilla and days of deadly violence that followed truly rocked this Baton Rouge community, as well as those connected.
Yo, it's one thing when you just giving the information, but once you go into speculatory, that's where he leaves me at. Give the information, the public information, but you don't go and start speculating. You know what I mean?
Many NBA members would get RIP Boo tattoos on their necks, and others would be seen toting guns at Boozilla's grave. Regular celebrations would be held called Boo Day.
Toting guns at his grave. What the fuck? What is the point of taking guns to his grave? Like, come on, yo. You could have left that out the whole documentary.
Boozilla's life. His mother would speak to a crowd, delivering some poignant words to a number of friends and family who had gathered in the area.
It's just my baby time to go. Yes, it hurts. But good Lord called him home, so we in a better place. And they asked him to come back, he really much want to come back here. He just gonna wait on us to come up there, so y'all gotta do good. So y'all can make it to heaven. You just for the Lord. I know a lot of people out here doing a lot of stupid things, and I ain't gonna tell y'all don't handle y'all business, but if they ain't coming at you, don't worry about it. But if they come at you, you handle your business. That's all I can tell you. But all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pray for all of y'all. Pray y'all make it home safe and pray for y'all every day. Because I don't want nobody to go through what I'm going through, because this really hurts. This like about to send me insane. Like some days I do good and some days I have my bad days and today just a good day. But I don't want to see nobody mama going through what I'm going through. Nobody's siblings.
That's a small hood.
They like when somebody do things like that, change a person's whole life. You think you hurt that person, you hurt that person, and then for them to be here, they gonna leave you. So that person at peace, but that person's family is suffering. So all I want y'all to do is do good, get y'all education, be the best y'all can be. The sky's the limit. Whatever y'all want to do, y'all do.
It's important to remember that no matter how many songs or social media posts glamorize the sliding that goes on between these gangs, behind this are grieving families, mothers and siblings who have to live with the consequences.
He glamorizing it. Like, yo, come on, yo. You can't do all of that, then come back and say this. You just glamorized the whole ordeal from the beginning of the fucking documentary. Man, cut it out, man.
Split-second decisions. And as she said, when somebody dies in the gang wars, that person who died is at peace. It's everyone else who was innocent to the original beef that has to live on with the grief of someone else's impulsive decisions. Sadly, it would take many years for Youngboy to realize the consequences of the violence playing out in his music and in his life. But for now, he would be stuck in the system, waiting for a chance to plead his his case in front of a judge. At the time of these charges, Youngboy was only 17 years old, but Louisiana is one of the few states in the US where 17-year-olds can be charged as adults. And so, Youngboy spent December 2016 to August 2017 incarcerated, waiting for updates on his case. But, at least for the fans, it wasn't all bad, because while Youngboy was locked up, his management team got to work and did their best to keep his music career alive. They created an updated version of his previous project, Before I Go, re-releasing it as Before I Go Reloaded, removing the songs Stuck With Me, Change, and All Night, and adding that 21 Savage remix of Murder, along with the track Bands and Fact. Then, on April the 14th, 2017, the label also released a reloaded version of his Mind of a Menace 3 mixtape, which removed the Murder remix with 21 Savage because they just put it on the Before I Go Reloaded mixtape, as well as taking off the tracks Life and Booting in this, and adding the tracks Blowing Up and Just Made a Play featuring Moneybagg Yo. So, while Youngboy was sitting in jail, all of these songs that were being released were picking up heat in the streets, and fans would eagerly await his release. And eventually, to some people's surprise, Youngboy was actually able to cut a pretty favourable deal with prosecutors, copping to the lesser charge of aggravated assault with a firearm. On August the 22nd, 2017, Youngboy was sentenced to a term of 10 years suspended prison time and 3 years of active supervised probation, which essentially meant that he was able to get out of jail and return to his music career. But the potential to have to go back and serve a full 10 years in prison would now follow him around for 3 years, along with a probation officer who would be...
There's a lot of people in this industry, yo, that came home from prison or jail and just skyrocketed.
Hours of supervised community service, which apparently even included doing an anti-violence PSA, which to the disappointment of fans everywhere,
That's strange
never
to me,
seemed
man.
actually serve this publicly. But Youngboy wouldn't simply waltz out of the courtroom, because apparently during that sentence, he had what was described as a tense but respectful
Bloggers,
back and forth with
rappers,
Judge
all that
Jackson.
shit.
Apparently during the case, she admonished him for going out with his boys, looking for trouble, and finding it. But Youngboy, to his
That
credit,
judge he had, though,
this exchange.
I can't say about his whole situation because I've been reading up on some of them cases. That judge that Youngboy had really did want the best for Youngboy. That's what it looked like to me. You know, she really wanted the best for him, man, and she gave her every opportunity to get that shit right. Salute to that black woman, man.
Responsibility for everything that had gone down in the incident. Judge Jackson went on to say that she didn't care about Youngboy's celebrity status and suggested that his rap music wasn't helping the high rates of violence in the community that he was coming out of. The judge would tell him directly that the genre of music that he makes has a lot to do with the mindset that people have, suggesting that it normalized violence. Apparently, Youngboy actually interjected at this point, reminding the judge that nobody had actually died in the incident, with the judge clapping back, saying that he's lucky that he's such a bad aim, and that he wasn't facing first-degree murder charges. It's also worth pointing out that the court did hear about how Youngboy had been trying to make a difference in his community by looking after his mother, buying her a home, and giving out school supplies to local children. The judge would then make a smearing and condescending remark about the fact that Youngboy had 3 kids at 17 years old. In response to that dig by the judge...
You see what I'm saying? Judges don't normally do that. Go back and forth. Like, she really cared about y'all.
Ahead of the actual sentencing, being welcome home by hotshot rappers like Boosie and Young Dolph. Youngboy would be seen fresh home on social media, being greeted by his NBA crew, rocking the same Burberry button-up shirt that he was booked for the crime in.
Of course he is. How many clothes he got?
What up, man? What's up, man? I'm cool, man. I was in Texas, man. We got to see what the deal is.
He'd be greeted outside jail by Montana in a white Maybach.
He was in Austin, Texas.
Youngboy was fresh home, and music would be the first thing on his mind. He would be seen filming freestyles in the same outfit and surrounded by his crew and manager, Big Dumb.
Call 3 and tell them zone. Jay in the studio is Zay in the studio is strange on the grind every day. I've been chasing that sack real there. They made money from college track.
His first major release since his release would be the biggest song of his career so far, the track Untouchable. This was a big single where Youngboy spoke optimistically
that was my. I like that song.
The struggle of the Baton Rouge streets.
Like that song a lot.
Most of this opportunity that he had to make it through music, and declaring his intention to move out of Baton Rouge to Los Angeles.
I used to like Youngboy, man. I'm gonna tell you what made me stop liking Youngboy. When I realized the effects that his music had on the youth. Like, I ain't never seen nothing like that before. You see what I'm saying? Like, a lot of these kids, I don't know if it's still that way, but it could be. But they live and die off of NBA Youngboy, man. Like, his word is fucking law. And it's like, once he got old enough to realize that, he should have strayed away from it. But he didn't. You know what I mean? He didn't. And that's when I realized, that's when I stopped liking him. That's when I stopped fucking with him. Because Youngboy got a powerful voice, man. Powerful voice. And instead of teaching these kids something positive, he just giving them death and destruction.
To carry a gun. Untouchable ended up hitting number 95 on the Billboard charts, becoming Youngboy's first solo single to chart in the United States. By August 2017, Youngboy was back in the studio, ready to focus on his music career, despite the prying eyes of a probation officer set to be following him for the coming years. So, following the successful release of Untouchable, Youngboy's team would drop his latest mixtape, AI Youngboy, on August the 4th, 2017, a project which would end up landing at the impressive number 24 on Billboard's 200 album chart. This also included another popular single, the track No Smoke, which surpassed Untouchable and ended up landing at number 61 on Billboard's Hot 100 singles chart. Youngboy was storming the charts and seemingly attracting the attention of both labels and other rappers. Funnily enough, on the song Gigi, Youngboy seemed to suggest that Chicago rapper Lil Durk and his collective had tried to sign him to his crew and record label, OTF, or Only the Family. But Youngboy would have bigger ideas than signing to another rapper, as only days after Youngboy's sentencing went public, it would then be announced that he had officially signed to Atlantic Records in a huge 5-album contract reportedly worth $2 million. And Youngboy would seemingly
They stole. He probably made them fucking had $500 million.
So, despite losing his cousin Buzilla, very nearly losing his freedom attempting to get revenge, in the end, Youngboy would escape a long prison sentence, returning to the music career that was buzzing before he went to jail, and taking it to new heights, landing chart positions on Billboard and a multi-million-dollar deal with a major record label. Things were on the up for the NBA crew, but despite the wins they were having in the industry, there would still be tension in the streets, as Youngboy had a whole host of enemies who would be dissing him while he was locked up, and desperate to see him fall when he was released, with the NBA crew ultimately taking drastic action to protect their star prospect.
So you think you know Wix, do you really? First up, we've got Shake Big.
When Youngboy began picking up steam as a rapper in Baton Rouge, naturally, he attracted a lot of opposition. After parting ways with former street crew turned label TBG, Top Boy Gorilla, he would find himself at war with their main artists, G Money and Fredo Bang. But they wouldn't be the only enemies that Youngboy would make in the city. In November 2015, Youngboy dropped a song called Homicide, a collaboration with another Baton Rouge rapper by the name of Scotty Kane. They would appear together on the song.
What the fuck happened to Scotty Kane?
Apparently, Youngboy would become friends with Kane, but later they had a falling out, with some suggesting that Kane may have felt slighted by lyrics on his song So Long, where Youngboy rapped that he blew up in his city and that he was getting views even without the song with Scotty. This was followed by an IG live clip where Youngboy would rap lyrics saying that someone changed on him. Apparently at some point Scotty Kane caught Youngboy in a studio and slapped him, later taking to social media to explain his side of the story, saying that Youngboy begged him for a verse and after asked him for money for shoes, and saying that he was trying to get close to Scotty Kane's crew because he had fallen out with TBG, with Kane even going as far as to tell Youngboy if he really has money, then send a hit and kill him.
I'ma address the situation like a man. Your bitch ass rolled my cousin. Yeah, I came to the studio. He begged me to do the first verse. I did not want to do it. I thought about it. I'm like, well, I'm going to go ahead and get a good chance. I did the verse. Your bitch ass asked me to put some on your shoes. You not with my label, bitch ass. That's so you. What I'm going to have with you on shoes and videos for? Because over there riding TBG, they wanted to raw your ass out. Now you ass come trying to rap my for you. Now you get on and do all this. You got bread, kill. Drop your bread, man. What the? Don't do all that. Kill me, come see me. Living like that. Because you know me, I'm living like that. All day, every day. You know how I'm coming.
In response to this deadly threat from Kane, Youngboy would reply to this by rapping more lyrics from the song Gravity and showing that he had goons behind him, ready to shoot.
And I don't want nobody but my mama boy. And my they was doing super enjoy. Remember I ain't had nothing to eat, I go steal for it. Show you my bank account, I swear I got 6 figures large. I don't need a hating, probably don't slake me for it. Then under the skies, living under the board. I ain't even they wasn't made for it. Lord, please don't mistake me, play them die, cause I ain't going for it. Like that, I'm living on the fly, make it through the night. Cause I ride to my city, I'm thinking making it right.
Youngboy would appear to address the
How you just connect that to that
situation,
situation?
admitting that he was sent an address where he pulled up and where he was confronted by 3 people.
That man got on live and started rapping, man.
When they pulled out guns on him, but still mocking them for not using the guns, and ending the track seemingly threatening to kill Scotty Kane. Later on, Pablo El Chapo, who had apparently intervened in this incident where guns had been pulled on Youngboy in a studio, posted a clip to social media seemingly confirming that Youngboy cried and suggesting that he had saved his life.
But I do know, little young boy, when you put them rods on your ass, you was crying in that studio. I saved your motherfucking life. I told my younger man, leave that slide, bro. Crying, man. Crying in front of his manager, man. Slide, he ain't about that gang shit. Y'all asked him to fight, they won't fight. Then when he brought up the gun, what you do with the gun? 2 or 3 guns in your face, you was crying. Ass boy. Chapo say.
Kane would actually respond to Youngboy in a diss track of his own, only days after his cousin Godzilla was gunned down. Scotty Kane would drop the Youngboy diss track NBA Smoke, produced by prolific TBG producer Austin on the Track. On this track, Kane would return Youngboy's death threats with threats of his own, as well as saying that somebody killed Godzilla and he didn't do anything about it. Kind of an ironic lyric, considering that a month after this song dropped, Youngboy would indeed be charged with double attempted murder, attempting to do something about Godzilla. But while Youngboy was in jail for doing exactly that, Scotty would drop a video on Instagram, seemingly distancing himself from this beef.
Hey, look, man, I'm on the road to success, man. I ain't with none of that. Y'all can have it. I ain't with that beef. I ain't trying to kill none of you. I ain't trying to do none of that with none of you, man. Y'all need to have it. And I got kids. I got so much going on good for me, dog. Like, it's a lot happening right now. I ain't with no copy deuces and nothing. I just ain't with it. Like, I ain't having it. Like, too many people that's depending on me. Too many people that care about me. I don't need to be doing all this stuff. Like, I gotta do this for my kids, for my family, and everybody else that love me, dog. Like, all y'all can have it, man. Y'all want it, y'all can have it.
And he would go on to say in an interview with Gutter TV that he regretted dropping his death-threatening Youngboy diss, NBA Smoke.
Like, I regret, I ain't gonna lie, even though NBA Smoke did so many views, I regret it. You feel me? Like, I'm gonna honestly say that. Like, I didn't want to do that, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, it's certain shit that you gotta, I feel like that was my flaw, that song, you feel me? So, y'all just saying that raw and all that did try to do this and that. I don't even like the song, tell the truth. I hate that. I don't care how many views he got on it, you feel me?
However, the beef would be reignited when Youngboy returned home from jail. Scotty Kane would post a clip to social media showcasing a long set of both bankrolls and fingernails, and saying, "Get your cash, you don't get any money."
Those said bankrolls and fingernails.
This would attract a response from OG3, who posted a picture of Youngboy with money and a caption saying what Kane was holding ain't half of what Youngboy's holding. This would apparently prompt a response from Kane, where he said that OG3 was holding his big dog's money. Now, I couldn't actually find that post, but Youngboy seemingly responded from the back of his Maybach, even dragging his manager feedbacks into the situation.
I don't know. I ain't deep. Listen to my music.
Fee, that's Lil Wayne manager too.
Say, Fee, I ain't about to tell him I ain't got no big dog, man. Everything in my pocket for me. Wrong deed, man. Tripping, boy, get out my. You know what it is.
Apparently, a few months later, Scotty got his chain taken, and Youngboy would clown him online immediately after the thieves had exposed that they had taken his chain. However, something else would also happen during this beef that would appear to be much more sinister. A prominent producer for TBG, Austin on the Track, who had made numerous beats for songs made by Youngboy's biggest rival G Money and Scotty Kane himself, as well as landing credits for Chicago rappers like G Herbo. Austin on the Track was quite literally the person who made the beat for Scotty Kane's NBA Youngboy diss track, NBA Smoke. Well, at around 7 PM on the 10th of August 2017, TBG-affiliated producer, Austin on the Track, real name Austin Rashad Norwood, was sitting in a car with another person outside the Ardenwood Village apartment complex on North Ardenwood Drive. At this point, somebody turned up and sprayed the car with bullets, after which the suspected shooter fled the scene in a car before crashing and escaping on foot. This would leave the passenger injured and Austin himself dead at the scene. This was a brutal assassination, with investigators being seen examining the bullet-riddled scene. But in a chilling turn of events, the body of Austin would even be left in place in the driver's seat of the car, which was towed away from the murder scene, with detectives claiming that the entire car with the body inside it had become a crime scene and would need to be moved with the body to a controlled environment so that they could process all of the DNA evidence. Police would ultimately describe the
Yo, what the fuck type of shit is that? I hope that his family sued the hell out of them for that, man. They towed the body in the car. Yo, that's so fucking disrespectful. And I don't understand how did he just try to connect this to NBA Youngboy either. Because they saying, what he's saying is because Youngboy, because this guy made the beat for Scotty Kane. Somehow Youngboy 10 got him killed. I doubt it.
Suspected robbery, with cops claiming that Austin and his cousin had gone to an address to sell a cell phone.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Online, a situation described on the news as a setup.
A man is shot and killed while trying to sell
Yeah,
a phone.
that's what happened. This ain't got shit to do with no goddamn Youngboy. They could have left this part out the video.
A cell phone to someone they met online. At some point, that transaction taking a dark turn.
While there, the individuals attempted to rob them, shot into the vehicle.
Yeah, he could have left this out the video.
With the victims left for dead inside the car, the suspected shooter allegedly took
That
off.
shit was irrelevant.
LJ McNeely says for now, it's unclear if whoever pulled the trigger acted alone.
We're just keeping it open-ended and not going to dictate if it's 1 or 2 or 3, 4 different suspects. But as the investigation continues, we'll determine all the individuals that was involved.
Now, as far as I was able to find out, this murder was never solved. And once again, let me make it very clear, there's nothing connecting Youngboy or the NBA crew to this crime.
Then why I mention it?
Another case of somebody involved closely in the rap scene in Baton Rouge. In this case, the producer of prominent Youngboy diss tracks, who seemingly wound up losing his life in a brutal gangland-style slaying.
Yo, why mention it? Why mention it at all? I mean, it don't make sense. Why mention it, then come back and say, well, this has nothing to do with Youngboy. But you just made it about Youngboy when you brought up the whole beef with Scotty Kane. Like, yo, come on, y'all. People not stupid, man.
None the wiser as to who was responsible.
And this is an unsolved crime.
In September, it was believed that Scotty Kane and Youngboy would finally squash their beef after Scotty Kane posted a picture of them together on a FaceTime call, along with a caption suggesting that they were on positive terms and both focused on earning money and success rather than beef. Though it would seem that the NBA crew would eventually have the last laugh, as many years later, Scotty Kane would get a taste of his own medicine. He himself ultimately wound up getting jumped on camera in a studio, just as Youngboy did. And OG3 would later even be seen on social media with the person who had allegedly jumped Kane. Fortunately for Youngboy, the Scotty Kane beef would be resolved without anyone losing their life. Sadly, however, not everyone would be so lucky.
It has begun.
You're doing a lot of reaching.
The most prominent beef that Youngboy was involved in during his rise to fame was with G Money. Real name Garrett Burton, he was a former friend and a star over at Youngboy's former label, TBG. Youngboy's other biggest opposition, Scotty Kane, would release the scathing Youngboy diss track, NBA Smoke, just days after Youngboy's cousin Boozilla got killed. And while Youngboy ended up in jail on attempted murder charges for attempting to avenge Boozilla, G Money was linking up with Youngboy's ops and building alliances to diss him. In January 2017, G Money linked up with Pablo El Chapo, one of the people who'd been in the studio when Scotty Kane allegedly stuck up Youngboy with a gun and made him cry. They would collaborate on a new Youngboy diss titled WNBA Smoke, where they referred to him as WNBA Youngboy and dissed him extensively. G Money would rap saying that he will send a blitz to take out Youngboy and his team for dissing him, as well as warning Youngboy that he will kill him for beefing with them. G Money also appeared on Scotty Kane's song Ain't Gone Right, where G Money rapped how he heard someone dissing him, but he can't kill them because they keep posting on Instagram. When Youngboy got out of jail,
all this fucking dissing music, man. That shit
responding to G Money, like the track
always end in murder.
Seemed to say outright that he's not squashing the beef.
Always end in murder.
To the devil, as well as saying that the only way the beef is going to end is if G Money gets shot. And he would go on to rap that he's dropping a bag on him and his crew, and that they're going to ride on him and smash him. Youngboy was seemingly letting the whole world know that he was planning to pay to have G Money killed. And throughout the verses, he would make bold claims saying that he's going to get it by any means and that the beef is never getting squashed. He would claim that his rising fame had
G Money murder still one solved.
Somebody is going to get their head bust for making a diss song about him. Youngboy would also claim to be the reason that their friend got killed, going on to rap that someone
Pab got
shot
locked
his
up,
grandmother's house with a 22,
but
his
he
shooter
wasn't the
got back
shooter.
and sent the ops a
Let
special
me qualify
delivery.
is Pab fuck around be
Now,
home
it's unclear
soon.
exactly who Youngboy is talking about having had killed here, but it could have something to do with a rumor that members from a TMG-affiliated crew called TMH, or Too Many Hitters, shot up Youngboy's grandmother's house, with TMH32 later denying having shot up Youngboy's grandmother's house in his song
What
FAN.
grandma
Anyway,
had to do with
clearly
this?
G-Money wasn't scared of Youngboy's counter threats, so he would decide to turn the disrespect up to a whole new level. On August the 15th, 2017, a sensational interview emerged where G-Money seemed to be talking extremely recklessly about Youngboy, suggesting that they used to be homies, but pointing the finger at Youngboy, saying that he started sneak dissing him once he became successful.
So, I mean, do y'all have history? Was y'all ever cool, you know, years prior?
Yeah, that like my little partner, he used to be like my little brother. He stayed with me and everything. Everything was still all good until he started, you know what I'm saying, like doing his own thing, getting him a little buzz, getting a little money. He just got the big head and just started feeling like the feelings he been feeling probably deep down inside that he was scared to put out. He let that out once he got a name and got from down here.
And then G-Money dropped maximum shade by being very disrespectful about Youngboy's sister and saying that he'd slept with her.
He met about his sister too, though.
About his sister?
Yeah, I had her a long time ago.
Oh, okay.
Initially, G-Money and Youngboy would go back and forth on Instagram, with G-Money making a post suggesting that he's not jealous of Youngboy because he's already rich and living where the white folks live.
Living like I'm already rich and I ain't even rich. And I'm living with the white folks. What's wrong with these? Don't impress me, man. You hear me? I know real money, man. Don't impress me, man. You hear me? You know what I'm saying? Complicated. You see me do, you want to do what you're supposed to be up to.
Youngboy would reply with his own story, asking G-Money why he doesn't like him, and saying that he doesn't like G-Money and he's down to beef.
Saying, nigga, what you don't like me or something like that, rap? What you I'm saying, like, what you got something against me? Say that damn, man. Don't be on Instagram thing, poop in 2 different states. You know what it is. Stop, man. What you saying? I'm about to beef, man. What it is? Hear me? You know what? I don't you, man. I don't like you. I'm gonna keep on it. I don't like you.
G-Money would reply saying F Youngboy and he doesn't care if he doesn't like him, going on to accuse him of copying
Man,
his style.
if this shit went down how they saying it went down, Youngboy was wrong for this, man. Them niggas was cool, them niggas was close. Ain't no way that little back and forth they had supposed to end in murder, yo, if that's what really happened, yo. Ain't no fucking way, yo. Youngboy is foul for that. Allegedly, if that's the case.
Boy, you really my son. Stop watching me, man. Oh yeah. Get off.
Then, a few days later, G-Money would officially go at Youngboy on wax with the scathing diss track Industry. G-Money's diss song Industry called out Youngboy and the whole NBA crew on a number of bases. It had those lyrics that seemed to hint that Youngboy had been the one who tipped off G-Money about his cousin Boozilla running off with drugs, and it had more lines seemingly confirming that he had hooked up with Youngboy's sister, putting maximum disrespect on him. He also dissed Youngboy for sneak dissing him, and as the title of the song suggested, it dropped shade on Youngboy for signing a record deal and no longer being in the streets, with G-Money suggesting that after signing this deal, Youngboy had turned industry. The song also had another important lyric that seemed to confirm rumors that G-Money had actually had a price put on his head. G-Money even mentions Youngboy's mother, saying he can't kill him because he's Sharonda's son, indicating that G-Money knows Youngboy's mother well. He also called out Free and
indicating that he didn't want to take it that it wasn't that serious to him. That's what he indicated. That yeah, we having a little altercation, yo, but I never take it to that level with you, yo, because I know your mother. Come on, man, get that shit right, Ross.
And Montana from NBA saying that they don't want beef with him. G-Money also brushed off Youngboy's earlier suggestion that he could pay to have him killed, saying that he will kill anyone who tries them, ultimately declaring Baton Rouge his city. The music video for Industry also included a Chucky doll, which was actually a reference to an early Youngboy video called What I Was Taught that dropped way back in September 2016. But G-Money wasn't done then. The following month, he would continue to diss Youngboy, dropping yet another diss song, this time in a remix to Bodak Yellow, calling Youngboy a fake and warning him not to mess with TBG, as well as saying that Youngboy is hating on G over a woman and that he used to be TBG but switched up on the crew. G would also shade Youngboy for signing to a label, saying that by contrast, he got to where he was without a deal, as well as warning that he would be sending shooters to Youngboy's home. He would reference the NBA crew, saying that he thinks he's Steph Curry, referring to a player in the actual NBA known for his accurate shooting, and G would end the song saying that somebody tried to kill him but failed and got killed in return. It would seem for a while that Youngboy just wasn't responding, but G Money would continue to go at Youngboy and the NBA crew any chance he got. In a September Instagram live session, he would continue throwing shade at Youngboy, mentioning that a Baton Rouge rapper got hot and left everyone behind, and saying that Youngboy is scared of him and his gang.
These tell rappers in Baton Rouge be hating anyway, you heard me? They don't be sticking together down here. So what the fuck I look like getting a you? When you hide or do this and do that and do that, you ain't sticking with it. You. All these down here, man. You heard me? Most of these head of it, man. You see it, put your head down, nigga. And I can be by myself, you can be with 1,000. Man. Yeah, for real. Yeah. If you ain't with us, you can't hang with my gang. And that's on God. Ain't no banging with the gang.
All these boys, he ain't got no hair on his face. The whole kid, for real.
It's all good. But just remember, was there for now. I ain't never do no fake hating like that.
G Money would go on to diss Youngboy's whole family and say that he's TBG until he dies.
Like on everything,
shit is terrible.
You, your mama, your brother, your cousin, your
like, why? See, this is what I'm saying, man. Why highlight this shit? This shit is fucking terrible, man. To see two dudes that grew up together, family know each other, to fall out like this publicly, and then he glamorized it like this shit is something cool. Man, this shit terrible, man. This shit should have never happened like that. Nigga, look how young both of them, and then they got hair on their face. They fucking babies.
Yeah, TBG Gorilla Gang, TBG till I die.
G would also claim to be respected on Youngboy's native Chippewa street, saying that he pulled up with his gun and that people had tried to protect Youngboy.
I ran on Chippewa, man. You heard? I respect it out there. You know what I'm saying? I pulled up out there with a 38 when the whole chopper trying to save him. But I ain't gonna speak on it. You heard me? Way throwback. You heard me? 13, you know. 14, 15, 16. You know, throwback. Damn, man, who got a problem with Young around here? Now Young on the other side. Ain't crazy?
He would also diss Youngboy's team, saying that everybody in TBG is a boss.
How you a boss and he got a CEO and all this shit, you hear me, you know? Yeah, bull, they got to run them. Don't nobody run nobody over here. Everybody bosses. Yeah, nothing but bosses over here. Be looking at just because they got money, man. Y'all think real? Make no real, man.
I think I'm gonna watch it until G Money pass, and then we might have to do like a part 2 tomorrow night or something.
G Money would even claim that Youngboy got robbed and stripped and didn't retaliate, with his goons saying Youngboy won't survive the beef with him.
You ain't do nothing about it. Boy, strip. You strip and you ain't do nothing about it. So how you think you can tell me something? How you think you can go against me? How you think you can do that? You won't survive. Come on.
Clearly the
I never even seen none of these lives. And I was aware of this whole thing they had going on. Where the fuck you get these lives from? They not on the internet.
This was a very personal beef aimed at Youngboy and his crew. And
Somebody pull that live up when you hear G Money sound. I bet you won't find it.
To kill their opposition. Now, it's been speculated that Youngboy's manager Big Dump might have had something to do with potentially putting a price on G Money's head. And in September, G Money would seemingly be posting disses to Youngboy on social media.
Oh, keep going to Reddit, yo, with these, like, yo, that shit is not stamped and certified. That's somebody's opinion.
After he got a record deal.
Say, man, you know you ain't living like that, man. You get a deal and you done turn to the killer. When you start doing all that, man, you know you ain't cutting like that, man. You know TBG been your muscle, boy. And the same you talking about.
Now that's online.
Usually don't live in jail wherever they at, man. That's the thing you ought to move on the city, man. Yeah, you remember Will? Yeah, Will's out there. And you remember you ran out that store, man. You know what's happening with us, man. You hear me, real? And I'm living out shit, you hear me? Everything you got with a deal, like I on the deal, man. You hear me? You know, 30 plus on my with no deal. Yeah, for real. Driving a $100,000 coupe shit, man. Yeah, with no deal, boy. You better stop playing and stay in your place, son.
If you watch that clip carefully, you can see a window with white bars and black shutters beside it, with the building itself having red brickwork and a black security door. In this clip, G-Money is standing in front of a recording studio at the 1900 block of Dallas Drive that TBG were known to record at. This studio was also featured prominently in the music video for G-Money and Boulevard Quick's song, Set Trippin'.
You see how he just painted that narrative? So he must have got killed after that live. So basically saying whoever did it was watching that live, and since he was talking about Youngboy, he trying to connect it to Youngboy, and he knew where that studio was at by looking in the picture and looking at the back set. Hit the dirty motherfucker, boy.
And this studio is the exact location where G-Money would unfortunately lose his life. On the 10th of September 2017, G-Money would be seen on Instagram at his usual recording studio working on music, seemingly recording a Youngboy diss song with lyrics where he says that your favourite rapper is alive. At around 1:30 AM, G-Money would be found shot in front of that very recording studio that he recently went live at. Fat Chapo, who was with him at the time of the shooting, said that G-Money was caught off guard by a shooter as he walked out of the studio.
I was the first at the door.
Yeah, he ain't shoot.
G walked out that door, but
he was strapped and he ain't shoot. What the fuck?
I told him before he walked out the door, like, he walked out the door on his own. And they start shooting. When they start shooting, I really didn't know what was going on because I heard a boom, but the music was playing, so it was kind of muffled. When as soon as the shooting stopped, I ran out the door. Nobody was still, I still never saw nobody. And I saw G laying right there on the ground. And I really ain't, once I seen him, all I could do was call 911. You know, try to get help.
Once police arrived, officers would be seen.
Yeah, a lot of them boys is mad at him for that, man. They say he folded. Yeah, he supposed to have the joint on him and they shoot back.
Showed in his music video in the street where he said that he would put his ops on the news. And the following morning, the news would indeed report on this tragic killing.
Baton Rouge police are looking into a deadly shooting that claimed the life of a local rapper.
Youngboy say he put his ops on the news. Then next thing you know, he on the news. Get the fuck out of here, man.
RAPPER.FROM under the name G-Money. Right now, police have not named any suspects or motive. If you can help.
Then we gonna say NBA Youngboy indictment, man. Youngboy probably ain't signing that label. He ain't signing that label. They put Trap Lord Ross on him. Man, get his ass 6-hour documentary, detail everything. Trying to tell you, y'all, motherfuckers dirty. It's a dirty game.
One of G-Money's closest friends and fellow TBG-affiliated rapper RAPPER.FROM in a DJ Small Eyes interview would recount breaking down in jail when he heard the news of G's death.
I just broke down in tears, like you know how a baby cry, you know how a baby cried this year. I really just sat down locked up.
Scotty Kane would also react to G-Money's death, even telling followers that he was getting DMs telling him that he would be killed next.
Man, I wake up to every day, man, my partner got killed, you know. What the like that, son? And it's sad to say, man, talking about not even 25 yet, like, come on, man, like, it ain't that serious, son. Before I let you take me, dog, I'm slinging this whoever, whatever, and I don't care who love who, I'm going on my move. Get the on my DM talking about I'm next and all that. Man, I ain't worried about none of that. I ain't worried about none of that. Oh, man. When it's my time regardless, but I ain't worried about none of that. Better stop playing with kill y'all, so I do not play about my life at all. I'm gonna step, yeah. I don't give, you know, yeah, I'm gonna die about it for real, you know.
The day after G-Money was killed, it seemed that fans would attend the scene of the murder, filming the location and peculiarly finding a pillow on the ground. The presence of a bloody pillow at the murder scene would end up going viral, sparking a conspiracy theory that G-Money's killers threw a pillow on him after the assassination and told him to go to sleep, with these rumours being further fueled by Youngboy lyrics that came out later, like the song Step On, where he says, "Lay your bed, I throw the pillow, please after all my people." And even in his recent single,
Yo,
Let's
get
Do
the
It,
fuck out of here. Why is it that somebody in the studio ain't bringing the pillow out to try to stop the blood? Yo, who the fuck? Yo, ain't nobody got time to be doing all that, man. People was trying to get away. People was trying to get away, man. Ain't nobody doing all that. But you see how he trying to tie Youngboy into it. They gonna lay his head on the pillow if we creep up on him. This shit crazy, yo.
will creep up on their ops and lay their heads on a pillow, with Youngboy even doing an impression of a dying G Money laying on a pillow in the music video. However, for the record, this is just a conspiracy theory, and some of the more sensible Youngboy fans would work out that this pillow was actually used by emergency medical staff that had attended the scene. But
Right.
setting aside those rumors,
So why? See, that's what I'm saying. He keep throwing these rumors in there and then giving you the facts. Like, yo, fuck the rumors. We don't want to hear the rumors. If you're gonna do a documentary like this, just give the facts. Keep it simple. That's how the message get confused. When you wanna motherfucking give people the fucking rumors. Yeah, but I'm ready to go to bed, y'all. It's late, 1:15. I'm tired. I probably do a part 2 tomorrow night. Try to do it a little early, probably around like 9. We probably can go through another 2 hours. You know what I mean? 6-hour long documentary. It's a nice documentary. I think so far he could have just left the speculatory stuff out of it. Like, we don't need it. We don't need it. If you're gonna give the facts, give the facts. But when you start going into speculatory, that's prosecution work, man. And I still ultimately believe, I think this documentary was put out because Youngboy got that case. Youngboy got that case, man, and he's making the case on YouTube that Youngboy tells the truth in his rhymes. And he established that by speaking on when he was talking about his father and his uncle and, you know, the things that didn't have anything to do with murder. That's what he did. That's what he doing. Let me know how y'all feel about us in the comments. Ready to take my ass to bed. Keep it G News. Share this video. Subscribe to the channel. You know what I mean? We gonna come back tomorrow 9 o'clock sharp. We're gonna do